ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Nerdy Scores, a film podcast, episode 79. Holy fucking shit, we are one away from episode 80. What is going on? I don't even understand what the hell is happening anymore. Am I dreaming? I should be pinched. Okay. Ow! Ow! Now can you hear us better? Hopefully. Let's see if this all works. Alright, so... yeah, welcome to Nerdy Scores, everybody. Sorry, I accidentally put in the wrong mic, so hopefully you guys can hear me right now. Episode 79. I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Lovner. Also, my name is Brian Sutfield, just in case if I didn't say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally not going to sell you nothing. Except for this movie. Possibly.
Oh, God, brain face.
And also, yeah, we're not even 2 minutes in and we already have shit breaking. My God. My God.
Why are you saying my God like that astronaut from Transformers Dark of the Moon? Oh my God. Okay, on this week's episode, there's a lot of news to talk about. No trailers, some Blu-ray releases, I believe. And we're going to have our review of the second Spider-Man reboot, a.k.a. the sixth Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homecoming. This is going to be interesting because I haven't really talked to Matt about it, although I kind of have an idea of what he thought of the movie. And yeah, and then of course box office results for the weekend. So let's just get into the episode and let's just, talk about the stuff. Alright, pieces of news. I put them down on my cellular device. Yeah, who calls the cellular device? Me. Alright, speaking of Marvel, our first piece of news is that Mr. Nicolas Fury, played by the one and only Samuel Lancelot Jackson. That's obviously not his middle name, but if it was, it'd be pretty badass. Nick Fury is the character that Samuel Jackson obviously plays in the MCU. In 2008, I remember sitting in the theater, watching the first Iron Man, and at the end, Nick Fury comes in, and Tony Stark's like, "Who the hell are you? We're gonna put the Avengers together." Boom! The end. See you in 4 years. And then 4 years later, the first Avengers came out. It has been announced that he will be in Captain Marvel, which is, the Brie Larson starring MCU flick that's going to begin filming early next year and coming out early in 2019. It makes sense that Nick Fury is going to be in this. I'm curious to know if this is going to be a cameo, or if this is going to be like a main supporting role like he had in Iron Man 2 or The Winter Soldier. Similar to that, I don't know how they're going to go with this. Obviously, Samuel Jackson's a fantastic and charismatic talent. I love him in most of the stuff he's in. It's funny that he's going to be working with Brie Larson again because they just did Con Skull Island together. And I'm excited for Captain Marvel big time because, as many people know, or if you guys don't know, Matt knows this, Brie Larson is one of my favorite actresses in Hollywood today. I think she's pretty much incredible in most of the stuff that she's in. I mean, her last movie I wasn't really a fan of. Ironically, also, Samuel Jackson was in it. I wasn't really a fan of Con Skull Island all that much. But, she's an Oscar winner. So, it's exciting. The movie's going to be very exciting, I hope. And Nick Fury going to being in it, I'm curious just to know how big his role is going to be. Is it going to be small? Is it going to be big? Is it going to be in the middle? What's it going to be? Who the hell knows? It's understandable why he's going to be in this. Matt, what are your thoughts on this story?
Technically, didn't Free Fire? Wasn't Free Fire the last one that came out?
Oh yeah, that's right. See, that one was forgettable to me because that was also a disappointment. I'm hoping The Glass Castle is not a bad movie. Because if The Glass Castle is one that I don't like, then that means that this year was disappointing for Brie Larson.
The only thing I remember from Free Fire is freaking Charlotte Copley's burnt ass fingers and hands because it was goddamn disturbing. But other than that, I don't remember that movie at all. What I'm wondering what they're gonna do, because last time Samuel Jackson was in like an outside Avengers MCU movie, he pretty much almost got killed. So I wonder what are they gonna do with his character, and how is it gonna be like? Is Nick Fury gonna be like the one trying to recruit? I wonder, like Captain Marvel into like.
See, here's the thing with this. Now this movie I believe comes out before the second part of Infinity War.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they're gonna do. Here's the thing. I don't know if she's gonna be in Infinity War. They haven't said anything right now. I would think she will be in it. Yeah. I would think she's gonna be in it. I mean, it would make sense if she's in it because Black Panther is gonna Black Panther's going to be in. Nearly every MCU character is going to be in it. Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, all the Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther. I would think Captain Marvel is going to be in it.
I mean,
I don't know how big of a role she's going to have in it, but I'm not sure.
Because it makes it sound like she's going to be like a wild card, maybe.
For what?
You know what I mean? Like
wild card for what?
Well, as you know, if it's going to be in between part 1 and part 2. So what I'm thinking is, they're going to get their ass kicked in part 1.
Well, part 2, I believe, takes place immediately after.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, maybe that they have this all planned out, but this is like before. I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird that it's going right into the after when you have movies in between, because that kind of messes up the continuity of the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like maybe what's going to happen is I think maybe honestly I don't know if they're going to do like an origin story. Well, I mean like a typical origin story. Because I'm thinking maybe it's going to be one of those movies like Captain Marvel is she's already been doing this stuff, but she's been trying to be separate.
Here's the thing to me. What I thought about this as you were talking. I feel like maybe, and I could be crazy for saying this, it could be like a Wonder Woman where she's already like established in the first. If she's in the first Infinity War movie, she's established. Then they have her own movie where it explains her origin story, and then then it ends where Infinity War takes place, or after Infinity War.
It worked for DC, surprisingly. Even though the strategy doesn't sound like it would work on paper, it did.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like, seeing Nick Fury in that movie, I'm fine with that, because they have to keep it connected somehow. Like, every Marvel movie needs to have some character, I mean, aside from Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy, you have to have some character that, like, anchors them.
Well, I mean, see, here's the Ant-Man, even though it didn't really rely on any of the Avengers, the only cameo it had was from, Anthony Mackie as the Falcon.
But that was just supposed to be for comedy. I think just for comedy.
Yeah, that was Guardians of the Galaxy, they don't have... I know in the second one they didn't mention the Avengers at all. Did they mention them at all in the first?
No, because they have no knowledge, because remember, Peter Quill hasn't been back to Earth, and they don't know about Earth, any of them.
Yeah, that's true. See, that's the thing. That's why people were like... question. They're like, oh, why is the second one take place in the same year as the first? That's because I was confused by that as well. Like, I was like, why is this taking place immediately after the first? Shouldn't this take place like a few years ahead? But it makes sense because in Infinity War, when they're going to come in, Kevin Feige has stated that they're going to be much different than what they were in the second film. And, it's going to be 4 years have passed. So, 3 years have passed.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because it makes sense because... they're probably going to have the help, I mean, again, just a spoiler, hey? They're probably
of what? Of what?
Of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. But he's probably going to get the help of all the Reavers and all them people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because they're all going to be behind him, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get to see more Sylvester Stallone, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe.
And, also, with the whole... well, because, like, they are linked, yes, because, Ronan and he was... Thanos' bitch, basically.
Yeah.
So they do hate Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be one of those, we don't know who the hell you are, but we're gonna help, we're gonna join you anyway because we both hate him.
Yeah.
A common enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's what they're gonna do with the Marvel. But going back to, we're going off topic quietly.
We are.
This is more of a speculation of what Infinity War is gonna happen. What's gonna happen, but
we can't really speculate anything until we get our first trailer.
But that's
until we get the first trailer, which I believe will come out around the time that Thor comes out.
Because my theory is that it's going to be one of those that she's going to be, like, doing her own thing. I feel like, Captain Marvel, she's going to do her own thing. And then, Sam Jackson's going to find out. He's going to be like, hey, you want to join the Avengers? And then she's probably going to be like, no. You know what I mean? And that's going to be the whole movie, maybe, is her trying to figure out if she should be Avenger or just keep doing what she does. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. We haven't seen a recruiting movie yet.
Sorry. I farted. People didn't hear.
Mm-hmm. But, come on, there's more Sam Jackson, man. Is that a bad thing? No.
Well, as long as this team up is better than the last one they did together, that's all that matters.
But they were good in. Well, I mean, I'm saying the last time he ever had Sam Jackson in an outside movie, it was one of the best ones in the, entire Marvel universe. So yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the next piece of news is so 20th Century Fox had several release dates for 6 mystery Marvel movies. I'm sure one of them has to be Deadpool 3, if they're making a Deadpool 3. I don't know. I haven't really looked into any of this. Now, to find it, as people may know, we're getting 3 X-Men movies next year. Mm-hmm. We're getting New Mutants, we're getting Deadpool 2, and we're getting Dark Phoenix. So, I don't want to make any speculations, but 6 of them, I believe they said 2 of them are coming out in 2019, 2 in 2020, then I guess 2 in 2021. I'm sure one of them is going to be that infamous Fantastic Four reboot again. They're going to probably redo Fantastic Four again. Moolah, some of that green stuff.
And also to keep the piece of paper that they say that they own it. Yeah.
Yes. And once again, no interruptions, please. Thank you for doing that. I don't want to make any speculations because I don't know what they're going to do. It's probably more X-Men movies. It's probably maybe another Deadpool movie. Who the hell knows?
They're probably going to do more spin-offs. It could be the elusive Gambit movie.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with the Gambit movie.
They could be doing it dark and not saying nothing about it, so that could be one of them. And surprise everyone.
The question is Channing Tatum still attached to the role? That's the question.
I mean, if he is, and damn, he's pretty quiet about it.
Where's our Sabretooth movie? I want to see Liev Schreiber back as the character. I wanted him in Logan, but he wasn't in Logan.
I mean, he technically was, not spoil Logan, not spoiling it, hey? I mean, but there's a good chance he was probably 6 feet under.
Probably.
We knew about most of these movies already.
Yeah.
The other 3 really can't say nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still interested in Dark Phoenix because, it's a Phoenix movie.
Dark Phoenix, I think, just started filming too.
That's what I mean. So I want to see with that. Deadpool 2. I still can't wait to see Atomic Blonde because I want to see what David Leitch can do. With
Solo. What he can do solo. Obviously, because he co-directed the first John Wick. So,
but I think wasn't the action heavily on
Chad?
Yeah, Chad.
Chad Stilicki.
I can never say his last name.
I don't know. I just make fun of it. Anyways, so yeah, we don't know what these Marvel movies are going to be. It should be interesting. Speaking of mystery, apparently a True Detective Season 3, and I know this is not a movie, but this is TV. True Detective Season 3, they've been talking about this for a few years. The first season is one of the best first seasons of... Actually, no, it's one of the best pieces of television ever. What did I say about interruption?
It a miniseries, though?
What would I say about interruptions? Anyways, I'll explain what I think of your thing afterwards. Season 1 is considered to me one of the best pieces of television, and it's one of the best first seasons of any TV show. Season 2 was so highly anticipated for me, and it was really bad. It was a huge downgrade from the first. There were some good things about it. Colin Farrell was definitely one of the highlights of the series because he's always... I consider Colin Farrell to be one of the best actors of our generation. Now, Season 3... they've been talking about this for a while. They said they're writing some stuff, but they don't know. But the guy that's in talks to play the potential lead of the show, the season, is none other than recent Oscar winner Mahershala Ali. Ooh. Mahershala Ali, to me, is so fucking talented. He has blown me away in numerous projects. But when I saw Moonlight, I was like, this guy is just something really awesome, And I knew that he was going to win the Oscar. I'm happy he won the Oscar. I know a lot of people were like, but he wasn't in the movie that much. He was only in it for the first act. I get that. I do. But that's why it's supporting actor. It's not like he was nominated for the lead actor. He is fantastic. He's awesome. Like, even outside Moonlight, I liked him in so many things. Like, I have not watched House of Cards yet. I've seen some clips of him on it. He's awesome. I loved him on Luke Cage. I thought he was amazing on that show. And he's been in a few movies. Like, he was also in Hidden Figures, which he was very good in. And he just seems like a very likable guy. And he's honestly one of my favorite actors of color working today. I think he's fantastic. And him being in True Detective Season 3, potentially, I think this is great. And even though Matt didn't love Moonlight, you did commend Mahershala Ali as being one of the highlights of the movie, and or being what didn't you say he was your favorite thing about the movie? Or
because he was really good, but the only problem is he just wasn't in it enough.
I agree, but it makes sense
why for the character,
But him being the potential lead, I'm sold. I'm fine. I mean, he's an Oscar winner. That's a good thing. Like, remember when True Detective Season 1 came out. I remember the night that, the 5th episode aired, that's the night that Matthew McConaughey won his Oscar. Mm-hmm. And, Woody Harrelson also is an Oscar-nominated actor.
Both of them were great.
Both of them are incredible. And, no, but Mahershala Ali being the lead, count me in. I'm sold. I want more to True Detective. As long as it's in the veins of season 1. I'm sure it can't top season 1, but as long as it's in the veins of that season, then that's good enough for me. Matt, for someone who hasn't seen True Detective, what do you think about Mahershala Ali being the lead, potentially in season 3?
The one thing I'm more interested in is who's going to be directing it. That's the thing. That's the more interesting, that's the more, important question. Because you can see the difference between what happened in season 1 and season 2.
Yes. Unfortunately.
And I can kind of tell where they're going to go with this, probably.
I don't want to make any speculations. I want to go into the season blind. I was thinking
maybe like a Gangland Undercover type thing.
I want to go into the season blind. I don't want to know anything until...
That would be interesting, though.
I don't want to know anything until a trailer comes out. Because honestly, season 1, I only saw the trailer like once, and then when the show was coming out, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot this show was coming out. Season 2, I didn't know what it was about because the trailers were very vague. And,
because think about it. What if, he plays like the same character of Juan from Moonlight? But it's kind of like he's an undercover cop. And he's got some things to take care of outside of it, but also trying to keep his, cover.
I can't. I don't want to make. Like I said, I don't want to make any speculations.
That would sound interesting, but I do like him because honestly, I think one of the reasons I think about why I was so disappointed because of how good the first act of Moonlight is, and then the other two just didn't feel as good.
I think both acts are fantastic. The third act is hands down the weakest. But I still think the movie's perfect from front to back. The second act is my favorite act. I love the second act when he grabs that chair and slams into that fucking kid.
Highlight of that part.
When he grabs that fucking chair and slams into that fucking dickwad bully, I was like, Chiron, you fucking rock. I fucking love you, man.
But no, it's just I feel like the whole dynamic of like the first act could have been a whole movie.
Of course, that was the kid's fodder figure, and it makes sense why he wasn't there, and you could definitely feel his absence, but
I feel like
I still think the movie was perfect.
But imagine a whole movie like that, but then of course when spoiler, he dies, but say just imagine how heartbreaking that would be.
Yeah.
As a movie, that would be. Oof. But yeah, he's a great actor. I want to see him in Luke Cage because honestly, I hear he's very good.
He is.
Even though I hear he's a little wacky towards the end.
It is wacky towards the end. I can tell you that Luke Cage does wrap up a little. Its ending is a little awkward,
cheesy,
and obviously, it leads into the Defenders of course. But Mahershala Ali was a great addition to that cast. He was so good in that show.
I'm just wondering who's going to be directing this. That's what
we have to wait and find out. Speaking of more TV news, yes, we have more TV news. Ava DuVernay, as many of you know, she is the woman behind Selma and 13th, and she's currently filming A Wrinkle in Time, which is supposedly going to be this big Disney movie that's like a drama, and it's cost $100 million, and it's actually the most expensive movie shot by a female filmmaker, which is great. More female filmmakers in Hollywood. I'm sold on that. She is going to be directing and writing a 5-part limited series on Netflix about the Central Park 5. Now, I don't really know much about this. I looked into it, and I'm going to read some synopsis about it. So what happened was, there was this case in 1989 where a jogger was raped in Central Park by 5 men were charged for this crime, 4 black and 1 Hispanic. It was later discovered that their confessions were weird, I guess, and they spent 6 to 13 years in prison for a crime they didn't even commit. They didn't commit this crime. In 2003, they sued NYC, and in 2014, they settled for $41 million. And what made the crime public was that Donald Trump, before he was president, this was many years ago, he took out a full page ad calling for their execution. It's this story. I've never heard this story until this was announced. I'm gonna say this right now. I would really love to see this docu-mini series about it. Is it gonna be a documentary, or is it gonna be a reenacted miniseries, like a People vs. O.J. Simpson type? If it's a Making a Murderer, that would be cool. If it's a People vs. O.J. Simpson, I'm sold. I love Ava DuVernay. I really, really like Selma a lot. I was blown away by it. Actually, at first, I didn't think it was that good. Then I saw it again. I was like, this movie's fantastic. 13th was good. It was nominated for Best Documentary Feature at this past Oscar, and I'm really excited for A Wrinkle in Time. I think this woman is massively talented. She's a female director that people need to keep their eyes on, because we don't really get a lot of acknowledgement towards female filmmakers, which is depressing, because not only males can direct, there are many females that could direct. I mean, let's look at this. There have only been 4 females nominated for Best Director at the Oscars, and the first winner was in 2010 at the 82nd Academy Awards. The 82nd Academy Awards. So it took 82 years for a woman to win Best Director. So, that's depressing. But I'm curious about this. And also, Netflix has been crushing it with their programs. I mean, we just brought up Luke Cage, all their MCU shows. Recently. Oak Judges came out, and that was great. And, they're doing all these really awesome movies, but all their shows, too, with Orange is the New Black, House of Cards, Bloodline, Sense8, Fuller House... all the MCU shows, Master of None,
Santa Clara Diet,
Love, Santa Clara Diet. There's so many,
too much shit,
and it's insane,
but good shit.
Yes, Bojack Horseman, which, by the way, where the fuck is season 4 at? By the way, Rick and Morty comes back July 30th. I'm so excited. But Ava DuVernay tackling this subject, I'm really interested in this. What do you think? Have you ever heard of this?
Yes, because I could learn this in law, in my senior year.
I didn't take law. I didn't take that class.
Man, that class is so good. I learned about so many cases I'd never heard of. And this was like one I remember, yeah, because it was like one of those false accusation ones where it's like kind of a racist thing. So they were like, hey, during the time, of course, black people were like, well, they were in the park, so they probably committed it. And, they thought they found drugs and other stuff, but it ended up being, no, they were just, I think drunk or whatever. And, they were just down in the park having fun, and they thought that they were the ones who raped that person. And, it was horrible. It was a horrible thing. And it's sad that, that happened, because it kind of, a lot more racial tensions happened in New York after this.
Yeah.
So, because it was a high-profile case. Well, years later, it was a high-profile case.
Mm-hmm.
But when it happened, it really wasn't. And, I'm interested. I still remember, though, when we both saw Selma the first time, we were like, yeah, it was good.
No, you liked it more than me.
Yes.
You liked it more than me.
But
I thought it was overrated.
But we still had issues, remember?
You didn't have as many issues as me.
No, but then when we saw it that second time, and we learned...
I didn't watch it with you the second time.
No, we both saw it separate, but still. When we learned more of the background info... We were like, holy shit, this is a pretty good movie, eh? Like, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, hold on.
So, knowing how good and accurate she is with Selma and her portrayals, I feel like she's gonna, blow this movie out of the water. Or this miniseries, out of the water. Because, honestly, like, she's really good at making this shit. And I'm happy that, that she's getting to do something like this and bringing awareness to a case that maybe not everyone heard about. And I guess it's interesting. I'm really interested because I would like to watch it because I only know the background information of what happened where, they were wrongly accused, they were released, and then they lawsuited for money because of all the hard time they had to serve that they didn't deserve. And it looks good. On paper, everything sounds good. And Brian's still out.
I'm back. Sorry. That was weird.
This is what happens when you live on a big street.
Billy on the street. Also, there's another mini-series supposedly going to come out, directed by Michael Mann. And this is related to the war. And I know Matt loves his historical stuff. Michael Mann is set to direct a Vietnam War mini-series, or limited series, called Hugh 1968 for FX.
Is this about the Hugh... Is this about the freaking... I forgot the name of it. The Tet Offensive? It sounds like... Because I remember with Hugh... what happened with Huey, or Hugh, it was a city in Vietnam, right? And during the Tet, which is like their New Year, they led like a sneak attack, not just on that, but every like area around South and North Vietnam that the U.S. had
Yeah,
captured.
It's gonna be a comprehensive account of the siege in the Vietnam War that became a turning point for American involvement. Mm-hmm. I believe he's gonna be directing the whole thing. I'm not entirely sure. There's going to be between 8 and 10 episodes, and they're going to start filming later this year. I think the guy who wrote... This is based on a book by a guy who I think wrote the book the Black Hawk Down book.
Oh, that.
So, for me, I'm curious to know who... and this is actually going to be on FX, and we were just talking about the people versus O.J. Simpson.
Speaking of FX, it's also... I just noticed that the next season, The Strain's the last season.
Do you still watch that, or did you...
I dropped in the middle because I'm one of those people. I cannot finish a series. I'm horrible, I know. I'm one of those people. I don't know what it is. When I watch something, I start getting bored, and I hate that.
Why would you get bored?
I don't know.
Was it bad? If it was...
No, it's good.
See, I only saw the first episode of the show.
No, even good shows, like, I'm like that, too. I'm like... Oh,
yeah, you like Breaking Bad. But not with anime, though.
No, I still haven't... I've only completed, like, three or 4 animes.
That's more than me, I can tell you. That's 4 more than me, I can tell you.
But I've watched a couple and I never finished them. And I'm like,
well, anyways, Michael Mann directing this sounds fantastic. Yes, so much yes. Now, Michael Mann, I know recently his track record hasn't been the best, but I will always acknowledge him for making some of the best movies ever. Heat, Last of Mohicans, The Insider, and one of my all-time favorite movies, Collateral. I think him tackling this subject is going to be very cool. I love FX a lot for their programs. You know, like I said, I love The People vs. O.J. Simpson. I love a lot of the shows on FX. I love Sons of Anarchy, which isn't on anymore. I love Louie, which is currently in hiatus. I loved Wilfred, which is not on anymore.
A lot of their comedies. Yeah.
I've never seen The Shield. I've never seen Damages. I've never seen Baskets with Zach Galifianakis, which I hear is very good.
AHS, you never watched.
AHS, I've seen a few I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've seen enough of it. I've seen like a few seasons. I've seen the first season, the 4th season. I think I watched some of Hotel.
I just think
I never saw the 2nd season. I never saw the 3rd season, and I don't think I saw the last season.
I mean, honestly, I would say that the 3rd season's like the most superior season.
Everyone says that the 3rd season's the best.
It's so good.
Everyone says that's the best.
It's a really good season.
I like the 1st season. The 4th season was okay. From what I've seen from Hotel, it's okay as well. I heard the new season was cool. Season 2, I hear is and season 3
is again.
Everyone says it's the best.
I mean, that's also the first thing I saw Tiesa for me.
What else? You said The Strain is on
Strain's FX, but it's ending this year.
There's so much on FX. FX is a really superior. Fargo's on FX, and that's good. That's good.
And not forget FX2 has its own shows, or FXX, I mean, has Archer. We forgot Archer.
Archer's good.
God, there's too many shows on FX.
There is, and I kind of want to look up.
I mean, they run a lot of older shows too, and God,
yes,
like How I Met Your Mother. Oh my!
How I Met Your Mother, 2.5 Men. The Americans, I hear, is incredible. I haven't watched it yet. You know, I feel like that's a show you would watch. It's Always Sunny.
Always.
You know,
why did we forget Always Sunny? God damn
that's been on for so long,
but it's doing so good still.
I know. Atlanta. I've only seen the first episode of Atlanta, but. You know,
isn't
Taboo
coming out as well?
Taboo,
yeah.
Hello, Taboo.
Taboo, yeah. Well, that's
Legion is good. Legion's good. Justified, I hear, is good.
Like I said, isn't Claws coming out for that too? Oh wait, is that another
channel? The League was on, and that was that was popular.
League.
Yeah.
Too many shows.
Anyways, so, Michael Mann doing this, I'm really excited. And also, we don't really have many projects that center around the Vietnam War. Like, maybe Apocalypse Now centers around it. Full Metal Jacket does. Sure, we get some of it in Forrest Gump. But honestly, I can't remember the last time we got a project centering on the Vietnam War. So, Michael Mann tackling this, I'm excited.
Yeah, because I remember my grandma was watching Rescue Dawn.
Rescue Dawn.
With Christian Bale.
Ooh.
And Steve Zahn.
Ooh. Steven Zahn.
Directed by Werner Herzog.
Steven Zahn, the father of Greg and
Bad
Roger
Ape.
Kelpie.
Or it's Bad
The
Ape.
original father of Greg and Roger Kelpie.
But it's also known as Bad Ape.
What do you think of this story,
I agree, because there's only been a few Vietnam movies that focus on
movies, TV
well, I mean
shows.
because there is a lot of Vietnam movies, but they more focus on the psychology of the Vietnam War. You know what I mean?
And some people consider Forrest Gump a Vietnam War movie. I wouldn't say it is. Yes, he fights in the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
No, that sequence where he's fighting in the war is fantastic, and it's not funny. That scene is downright depressing.
No, but
because he loses Bubba, and Lieutenant Dan loses his legs.
But the whole parody of leave me here to die. I mean, but he doesn't.
The funny thing about the whole war sequence, the entire time when they're in Vietnam, was when they showed Lieutenant Dan's family members, all played by Gary Sinise, dying in the war.
Yeah,
and then the faces was
all the different wars.
It was like
in World War I, World War II, Civil War,
Revolutionary War. So it was kind of funny. But anyway, continue. What do you think of Michael Mann doing this?
I think this might be the thing that snaps him out of it. I feel like getting a more smaller thing is better for him.
He has done good with TV because he made a show on HBO called Luck, which starred it was the horse show with Dustin Hoffman, and it did very well critically. But what happened was, I think something happened to the horses on set, and then they had to cancel the show.
That's sad.
My dad watched that show, and he said it was great. I never watched it, but
But yeah, because I'm saying because Hugh, again, it's a really huge, because it's more of a bigger thing.
Yeah,
it's only a single piece of the Tet Offensive. Because it was more like they were defending the city because they lost it.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get it back.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see Michael Mann's action working to make it more of a intense, gritty.
Yeah, and the last time he did a war-centric movie was The Last of the Mohicans, which came out in the 80s.
I mean, that
which
was
starred,
Daniel Day-Lewis.
80s and early 90s, which starred Daniel Day-Lewis.
As a Native American, yes.
Yes.
And, yeah, I want to, because I only know some things about Huey, the city and what happened.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is
I've never heard this scene. I'm not really the historical guy.
I mean, you're talking to a guy who loves war shit too,
and I'm talking to a guy that is going
and has an uncle who was in the Vietnam War. Yeah,
my grandfather was in the Vietnam War, dipshit.
I mean,
this was 3 years before my mom was born.
Yeah,
so
he was in Armored Cavalry, but still, this is interesting. I mean, even though we've gotten a lot of in Vietnam, in HD, just how the History Channel did all that, where they just re-editioned all the footage.
That doesn't count.
No, but it is interesting, that stuff to watch.
I'm sure it is, but that doesn't count.
But I like this. I like this because it's more of a smaller project for Michael Mann, and honestly, I wonder who they're going to get in this movie. This show. I want to say a movie because I feel like this could be a movie.
It's going to be a mini-series, so it's every show. Whenever you make a mini-series, the obligation is to make it feel like a movie.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's going to be 2-hour episode mini-series that has 5 episodes. So it's going to be one of those long ones.
Yeah,
but I'll be honest here. I know this is nothing like it, but I have guilt for The Stand. I'm guilty of that. I like that one. That Stephen King miniseries. The one where it's the dude was the devil and it was the end of the world and with Gary Sinise in it. Of course, Gary Sinise.
We were just talking about Lieutenant Dan.
I remember that, but I have personal guilt for that.
Let me know when you're done with this news story.
But this was good though.
The next one. Speaking of return to roots of sorts, we talked about a month ago that Top Gun 2 is gonna happen. It's officially gonna happen. Tom Cruise is coming back as good old Maverick. Now, they officially announced the release date for the movie. It's going to come out on July 12, 2019, in the pit point of the summer. And I said this before, and I'll say this again. I understand why they're making a Top Gun 2. Top Gun is definitely the movie that launched Tom Cruise's career as a big household name. Yes, he made Risky Business beforehand, but Risky Business wasn't as well known as it is now. Although people are still what is that movie? And I'm like, it's the movie where Tom Cruise dances in underwear to Bob Seger. Come on, are you kidding me? But Top Gun 2 coming out in the summer. That's a good release date. And they confirmed that Joseph Kosinski, the guy who directed him in Oblivion, he also directed Tron Legacies, directing it. It makes sense. That usually when they say, "Oh, it's this and that," obviously it's going to happen. listen, I don't really need a Top Gun 2 for many reasons. One, I feel like I like Top Gun. I do. I don't think it's Tom Cruise's best movie. I understand maybe his most popular movie. But I like the idea of how he's going to be training new people, and it's going to be modern, and it's going to be somewhat of him taking over the helm. I think it's really interesting. And I just feel that without Tony Scott, the movie's not going to really be that strong. I feel like it's going to lose the flair that Tony Scott brought to the original film. And originally, and I actually kind of read into this, they were actually going to film this movie in 2013 because the year before, Tony Scott and Tom Cruise were searching for locations for the movie. And then, unfortunately, I don't want to make jokes or anything about this because this is a depressing matter. Tony Scott had to just jump off a bridge and ruin his life. So, it sucks. I like Tony Scott a lot. I like his movies, but I don't know. I'm curious what they're going to do with Top Gun 2. I do hope it's good. I love Tom Cruise. His last movie wasn't really the brightest. Obviously, I'm excited for American Made. I'm excited for Mission Impossible 6. So him doing this movie coming out in the summer of 2019, it is perfect. I'm curious to know what's going to come out against. But, yeah. Top Gun 2 coming out in summer 2019. As long as they bring back Val Kilmer as Iceman, that's all. That's what I need. But he's not in good shape. He is not in good condition. So, he looks terrible, Val Kilmer.
Oh, Val Kilmer.
Oh, Val. You see what Joel Schumacher did to you when you played Batman? Although he was a fine Batman, it was just, the movie sucks.
Remember Deja Vu?
Deja Vu? Okay, Matt, go ahead and give your thoughts on this news story. Wait, have you ever seen Top Gun?
No.
Really?
All I know is Goose probably dies. That's all I know.
Oh my god, spoilers! The movie's 30 years old.
It's 30 years old, kid. Calm down.
I mean, I didn't know anything about Top Gun before.
I was gonna say, since Domhnall Gleeson's gonna be in American Made, can we get Oscar Isaac in Top Gun 2? So it's like the Poe Maverick crossover.
Wouldn't that feel a little?
Meh.
But then if he's gonna be playing a pilot, people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, Poe Dameron 2.0."
It's Poe Dameron, but as an American. Oh shit.
Poe Dameron is American.
He's just like one of those typical American hotshot pilots.
But Poe Dameron is American. I mean, if there's such a thing as American in Star Wars.
American. He's American. Yeah. He's the minority American. Yeah. But he's great. He's a great actor though. I don't know. I mean, like you said, it's unnecessary. But I feel like it's like kind of like a good idea in a way to bring it to another generation. I guess that's what I'm seeing it as.
Is it really needed though? That's the thing. Do we really need another Top Gun movie? If they made this 20 years ago, maybe it would have been fine. I mean, I would love to see how much the characters progressed.
Mm-hmm. But then again, though, did we really need 4 other Mission Impossible movies? That's a good point. I mean,
see, the first one was good though, and that could be a big franchise type of.
Well, then again,
stuff.
It was based on a TV show, yeah. So it was kind of like, oh, here's the movie version. There you go. Could have just ended it there. Which great movie.
What, Mission Impossible?
Yeah.
Well,
the first one.
The first one is good.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
All of them are good, with the exception of 2, so far.
Is it a guilty pleasure to you?
No, I don't like Mission Impossible 2. I feel like it's so different from the first one.
Because they make him like Bond. I don't want to quote Stuckman, but that's what he said. They basically make him.
And then
like
Tom
Bond.
Cruise with his absolutely gorgeous long wavy hair, under the direction of John Woo, and
John Woo. Then again, he made some good movies, John Woo, but still, he's made some good movies, John Woo. Hard Boiled.
I haven't seen that. But finish this story so then we can talk about our next story, which also involves a sequel.
But I guess that's the thing I can see what Tom Cruise wants to do. I think either A, he really wants to just finish this character off, go back to it, or B, he wants to bring it to another generation of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable why they would do it. It's just that the question is
it going to be good?
Is it good? No, not just that. Is it going to do well? Are a lot of people going to go out of their way to see a Top Gun sequel?
Come on. People who love movies are going to go see it. Unless like the trailers, unless the trailers don't look good, people will probably go see it. Because,
but also, how many sequels, like long-awaited sequels, have been good? I mean, granted, this year we got Trainspotting 2, which I thought was fantastic, and like we get a lot of comedy sequels. Like obviously we had Dumb and Dumber 2, Zoolander 2
was the most disappointing for you.
Zoolander 2 could go suck a big pile of shit.
It's funny because the movie actually looked good.
It did look good, and then it was shit.
Good marketing though. Good marketing.
Yeah, poor Ben. Oh, Ben.
Ben. Yeah.
Oh, man. Is that it you have to say about this? Okay, speaking of sequels, the sequel for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them actually just started filming a few days ago, and they released a synopsis of sorts. I'm going to say this right now just to, like, describe what's going to happen. Okay, so David Yates has come back to direct it. J.K. Rowling wrote the script. Obviously, Eddie Redmayne has come back as Newt Scamander. Johnny Depp is going to be a big pivotal role as Geller Grindelwald. That's his first name. Yeah, that's his first name.
Just say Grindelwald. It's easy to remember.
We announced it like a while back that Jude Law was cast as Dumbledore. They also announced that a majority of the people from the first film were coming back. So you got Catherine Waterston coming back, Dan Fogler, aka Matt, and Alison Sudol, who is so fucking Queenie, is so fucking cute. Oh, my heart. Okay, so I'm gonna read the article that talks about this. Alright, so the movie began filming. There's no name for the sequel, by the way. As of right now, it's just called Untitled Fantastic Beasts sequel. So, also they announced that Ezra Miller's coming back to the movie. Zoe Kravitz, the girl that's in the photo. I mean, I don't want to spoil it because, to be honest with you, I feel like not a lot of people saw Fantastic Beasts. Because when I looked at the box office results, it didn't really make as much money here in the States, in the North America, as it did overseas. It made like $200 million, which isn't bad, but it's not big for a movie set in the Harry Potter universe. Also, to be honest, I know a lot of people are probably going to give me flack for this. In terms of the prequel spin-off movies that came out last year, I like this one more than Rogue One, personally. I liked Rogue One, but, I liked this one more. Maybe because I'm such a huge Harry Potter junkie. The books, the films, all the stuff around it, I love. They also announced that Caleb Turner, the guy from the Only Living Boy in New York trailer. Oh, by the way, I looked up Caleb Turner. Remember how you said that he looked very familiar? Mm-hmm. He was in Green Room as one of the band members.
That's why, yeah.
So I was like, now I remember him. So he's going to be playing Newt's brother in the movie. And,
Albus Dumbledore.
So, I'm gonna read what, this was a synopsis released by Warner Bros. J.K. Rowling wrote the screenplay for the film, which opens in 1927, a few months after Newt helped to unveil and capture the infamous Dark Wizard, Gellert Grindelwald. However, as he promised he would, Grindelwald has made a dramatic escape and has been gathering more followers in his cause, elevating wizards above all non-magical beings. The only one who might be able to stop him is the wizard he once called his dearest friend, Albus Dumbledore. But Dumbledore will need help from the wizard who thralled Grindelwald once before, his former student, Newt Scamander. The adventure reunites Newt with Tina, Queenie, and Jacob. But his mission will also test their loyalties as they face new perils in an increasingly dangerous and divided wizarding world. Now, this isn't going to take place in New York. It's actually going to take place in London, and it's going to take place a bit in Paris, from what I heard. There's going to be some nods to the original Harry Potter books and films, so that's going to be cool. I really liked the first Fantastic Beasts. As I was kind of worried going into it, even though I was like, oh, all the marketing was terrific. It stood on its own, which was great. Which I thought it was going to rub the whole Harry Potter thing in your face. They didn't even mention Harry
Harry's young parents. Oh.
They didn't mention Harry at all. They didn't mention anyone from the films at all. I thought it was great, the movie. I haven't seen it since it came out, and I want to watch it again badly. This sequel I'm excited for, and it sounds really interesting how it's going to be like Dumbledore and Newt's going up against Grindelwald, and also since Grindelwald and Dumbledore had a past together, I'm really curious to see how they go back and forth and everything. So, I'm really excited for the Fantastic Beasts sequel. Matt, what are your thoughts on it beginning filming? Did you like the first Fantastic Beasts? And do you have any excitement towards the sequel?
When you say, like, rubbing Harry Potter in your face, I'm just thinking Newt grabbing a book and rubbing it across the stream. It's just Harry's young parents. Harry's young parents! Look, see!
Him yelling like Drew Burr said,
Harry Potter!
Harry Potter!
God. No, but the first, it's kind of weird because, like, I feel like the characters compared to Rogue One were better.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they were all developed!
Yeah, but I feel like the plot itself, though, was just a little bit put better, together in Rogue One, which is kind of weird.
Because the plot is simple. All it is them stealing the Death Star plans, and that's it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit better. It's kind of weird, like that contrast. Like, yeah, it's better characters, but the story's a little bit more streamlined in that movie.
I understand what you're saying.
Because, there's a lot of things that happen in the Fantastic Beasts. It's like, oh, that's a lot of stuff happening. And a lot of exposition. You know what I mean? But, there's a lot of that stuff. And because you got to set up the world of, U.S. Wizarding World, because nobody knows the U.S. Wizarding World.
Of course.
But I'm kind of seeing that this is probably going to be like a fish out of water movie. Like how in the first, he was like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
In New York. I think it's going to be the other way around now with everyone else.
I didn't even think they were going to come back. I didn't think they were going to have them back again.
Interesting, though. Especially Jacob. Like, Tina I could see, but
Jacob... we don't want to spoil what happens at the end, but... where are they going to take his character?
I guess that wand was broken.
Yeah, because of that last shot. I don't want to spoil it, but, that last shot...
I mean, come on, it's been a couple months, I think.
I don't want to spoil it, though.
For Harry
I
Potter.
feel like not a lot of people still haven't seen this movie.
I think it's because in the States, I think people have been like, oh, Harry Potter's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I understand why Rogue One kind of rubbed the Star Wars stuff in your face, but it didn't really stand on its own to me. This movie stood on its own. That's the thing. Like, it started its own universe. I'm excited to see where this universe goes. I guess
because, the Star Wars was more of like a puzzle piece. They're like, we'll just put it in there.
Mm. And here's the thing. When this movie was announced, I didn't think we really needed it, though. But then I saw it, and I'm like, I really liked it.
But after seeing the first movie...
I had problems with it, but I still really liked the movie.
I would say, like, after the first movie, honestly, I think I was like, alright, we do need this, because we need more of the background information on Voldemort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think this is where it's going to lead up to. My theory is that...
This franchise is definitely going to lead up to how Harry Potter begins.
My theory is at the end of Fantastic Beasts, it's going to show how Voldemort became Voldemort. At least in the last couple movies.
Even though in the 8 movies, they did kind of tease how he became Voldemort.
Yeah, but I think, like, again, Grindelwald's a very important part of how he became Voldemort. So he's probably going to train someone.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I like this. I like that everyone's coming back. I like that, now they're going to get more Johnny Depp. Which, I mean, we're kind of spoiling that already, but we're not saying who Johnny...
They now...
Yeah, well, we didn't say who Johnny Depp... Well, we saw who he was, but we didn't say how he came into that movie.
Yeah, the way he came in was very unexpected. It was not someone that I thought was...
Hint, it's one of the actors we said is not returning. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we didn't say who. There's many actors listed here that we didn't bring up. Alright, so now, I believe we have one more piece of news. Wow. We're almost an hour into this bad boy. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit.
But it's a lot of good news. Good news.
The last piece of news is that Sony wants a sequel to Baby Driver. So...
what?
Yes.
No! I mean...
Matt!
Yes!
Matt! What are you smoking?
I mean, yes and no!
Make up your mind!
Yes, no!
Maybe! I don't know!
We should do the Mickey thing. Yeah, no! Yeah, no!
Yeah, no! Okay, no, this is a big yes for me. Now, I did not think Sony would even ask for a sequel to Baby Driver.
Oh, phone's about to go off. Oh, no, it's not. I thought it was.
I want more Baby Driver. This is a big yes. I'm curious to know what they're going to do. Obviously, no, we're not going to spoil anything, but the way the movie wraps up, there's definitely more that you could dive into in Baby's story. Yeah, sure. I would want more Baby Driver.
I mean...
why can't Warner Bros., and obviously this is a different studio, why can't Warner Bros. Just come out and saying, hey, we're making a sequel to The Nice Guys. Please make a sequel!
I mean, we should get a series for The Nice Guys. I think a TV
they wouldn't be
series.
allowed.
No, but I think
I'm not saying they wouldn't be allowed. I'm just saying they wouldn't have enough time.
But think about it, a TV series directed by Shane Black, where it's Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe on like Netflix or something. That would be cool.
I want a movie though.
No, but wouldn't that be cool though? Still, like
I would go open at night and buy the ticket because Shane, and Frank, we went open at night to see The Nice Guys, and we were the only people in the theater. Yeah. Well, we saw it on the Thursday night, so you know.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
We're that nasty.
You see why I would say it was work as a series because every episode would be like one of those old like shows from like the 80s where it's like every episode they deal with some case.
No, I don't want that.
No, but then like hijinks and shit ensue. You mean?
No, that wouldn't work for me. Personally,
that would be fun though. That would be fun if they did.
I want a movie.
I don't know. I just feel like because you can get more of it out there quicker. You mean if you did that?
You can't.
Well, because you'll have more like cases and more stories going on.
People need to support original content. Okay?
That is original though.
No, I mean through the theater, not through television. I meant through the theater.
But it would
be
people
are just gonna watch it on Netflix because Netflix is free. Actually, it's not for free. You have to pay monthly. But you
but they
get the point.
They got a cut of it though, at least. Yeah, but I don't know. The reason why I'm saying yes and no, here's why. I feel like Baby Driver wrapped up very nice.
Why are you whispering?
It wrapped up. It wrapped up with a nice big red bow.
Are you trying to be Mark Wahlberg again?
No.
Don't do that ever again.
It was it was a neat ending. Right? Everything was resolved, and I know what you're gonna say. But what about the John Bernthal character? Well, they kind of did resolve him if you paid attention to a certain dialogue he said.
Yes, but there could be more though. He could be encountering more stuff.
I know, but still, I don't know how.
Listen, if Edgar Wright is directing it, Matt, then
we're fine. Yes, because
we're fine.
What's I'm saying the yes, because I'm like I like Edgar Wright, but at the same time,
also he's not usually some guy that would make sequels.
No.
So if he wants more,
aside from his trilogy, but
this is his idea. But obviously Sony would be like, yeah, sure, I'm okay with another Baby Driver, or we're okay.
Is he doing fine in the box office?
Yeah.
So if it gets a sequel, as long as he's directing, I'll be fine with that. But still, I'm kind of like
he's going to be directing.
I'm trying to think like where would they go though? Because like I said, it does that wrap up really nice. Like everything's pretty much resolved in the movie.
Yeah.
So it would either A, have to be a new character, or B, like it would have to be about his past, maybe working for Kevin Spacey, or maybe show how he began working for Kevin Spacey or something like that.
Well, we'll see what happens. So that is it with the news stories. Now we're gonna go to no trailers because there were no.
If they do that, then they could bring John Hammond back.
Interesting. You need to speak up.
Or they could bring back, a certain character.
Listen, we're not gonna spoil.
Which anything. I wouldn't be angry if they.
Be
brought
careful
back
of what you say. Remember, the movie's still fresh. It just came out last week.
I know, but I wouldn't bring back. I mean, I would still bring back that character if they did it like in a prequel manner. But yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so when it comes to the Blu-ray releases, there was nothing listed. The Terrence Malick movie Song to Song came out, which I didn't see.
Wait, it came out? I thought it came out months ago. What?
On Blu-ray.
Oh, on Blu-ray. Oh, wait. That's right.
And Zookeeper's Wife also came out, which also we didn't see.
Mm-hmm. I don't care about that, though.
So, alright. Then let's jump into the review. What is with these sounds that come up at the perfect time tonight? Okay, now let's talk about Spider-Man Homecoming. Of course, no spoilers in this review. We're going to be very careful talking about this stuff because there are many things.
The Vulture. Yeah. Cough, cough. Down!
Why do you have to say, the Vulture?
Because, the Vulture.
Stop! Stop yourself.
But Brian, it's for comedic effect.
No.
Your memes.
No.
Right here.
This is for comedic effect. You want more of this?
No, please. No. I feel like JD right now.
The evidence has been sealed. Alright, Spider-Man Homecoming. Okay. No spoilers. Okay, here we go. Alright, here we go. Spider-Man Homecoming is apparently the 16th movie in the MCU. This is the third incarnation of Spider-Man himself. This is the second reboot. Okay. Here's the thing. I guess we should probably give a brief background on what we think of Spider-Man movies in general. The first two from Sam Raimi are, they're incredible. Spider-Man 2 is single-handedly one of the greatest superhero films ever made. It's one of the best sequels ever made. Spider-Man 3, I know a lot of people give it flack. I agree that is a huge downgrade from the first two. I don't know why. I still think it's a fine movie. I don't think it's great. There are things that make me cringe. Don't interrupt me, boy. There are things that make me cringe in the movie. Definitely. Topher Grace. But it's still not a bad movie. It sucks that Spider-Man 4 never happened. It was supposed to happen, I think, like a few weeks before it began filming. Sony had to screw up Sam Raimi. Then Sam Raimi left, and then that's when they announced, hey, we're rebooting it. And I'm like, oh, no. The first one, The Amazing Spider-Man, was not bad. I actually thought it was a pretty good movie. The opposite can be said about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which sucks. A big pile of dick. So I love the character of Spider-Man. He was my favorite superhero character when I was a kid, but then as I got older, my favorite was Batman because of all the dark and depressing stuff. Will you please not interrupt me as I'm speaking?
You know you love Christopher Nolan.
We'll talk about Christopher Nolan in two episodes when we review Dunkirk. So those are my thoughts on the Spider-Man movies. After Matt gives his thoughts on the Spider-Man movies, then we're going to give our expectations for the movie, and then we're going to review the movie. So Matt,
I thought you were going to crucify me. Oh.
What are your thoughts on the previous 5 Spider-Man movies that have come out before this one?
All right. I grew up with the Sam Raimi movies. They were some of those. Again, I know what you're like really young and you watch those pretty dark movies. Yeah.
So did I, bitch.
And they say our generation's violent bullshit.
We are pretty violent.
Yeah, and I love Spider-Man 1. I remember it better than 2 because I think I watched 1 more than 2. But 2 did have a fantastic train scene, which I think everyone remembers how that went.
Yeah.
And 3, for how much shit I give 3, I still like Spider-Man 3, right? Mainly for the Sandman and his whole storyline, and it's sad, and it's like, damn, they actually made a villain that you actually feel bad for. And then they also, with the other stuff, I mean, yeah, Topher Grace is Venom, but you gotta admit, that Venom suit looks good, though. For how much shit you want to give Topher Grace, it looks good, that Venom suit. It does.
Okay. And what were your thoughts when they canceled the Sam Raimi trilogy?
I didn't figure that out till years later. When I was reading that up, and I'm like, Sam Raimi didn't want to do...
Or no, maybe it was fun. Maybe you probably saw the trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man, and you're like, well, where's Tobey Maguire?
Where's the fuck's the sequel? Because I just stopped doing them. Like, I guess 3 was the resolution, because I thought, well, it's a fine resolution, I guess, hey? Because, it's sad, because a certain character... Where fucking Harry dies, and it's sad.
Harry!
It's been almost like...
It's been exactly 10 years.
It's been over 10 years.
No, it's been exactly 10 years.
It's been 10 years. And, James
I remember
Franco,
that...
we just spoiled James Franco.
Listen, I remember that summer was a really interesting summer, because that was the first movie that came out that summer, and the last movie that came out that summer was the infamous Halloween remake directed by Rob Zombie. Fuck yourself, Rob.
And I do remember that Spider-Man 3 lasted in theaters for like a month and a half.
It was a big deal, man. And also, that's when movie tickets were cheaper.
Yeah, so a lot of people saw that movie.
I saw that movie in my job. I remember I went after school. I went with my mom, my sister, and my aunt and my cousin, and we went to go see it. And it was fucking awesome. As a little kid, obviously. And then I've seen the movie. I think the last time I watched the movie was before Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. I'm like, it's not bad. Yeah. It's not good either, but it's not bad.
Even though it's cringy, you're like, there is still really good things about the movie. Like I said, Sandman, and then Harry and all that. Even though the amnesia thing is kind of stupid when you think about it.
It is really
because,
stupid.
Like, how the fuck does he hit his head and not remember who he is?
I don't remember anything that has happened before. Oh, James Franco.
I mean, that helped. Those movies are my first introduction to both Tobey Maguire and James Franco and Kirsten Dunst.
Same.
And Topher Grace. So yeah, which is a bad thing. Did you watch that 70s show before?
I think I saw commercials for it because I remember when I was a little kid, my whole family and we watched American Idol on Fox, and I think they played commercials for that 70s show. And I mean, I didn't watch that 70s show for the first time I think until like 2010, 11.
Well, you remember that,
and I've seen the whole show since.
I mean, not only like
last summer I binge watched the entire show.
Not only that, but that was also Mila Kunis's like big break. I mean, yeah, Family Guy she was on, but. That was more of a breakout show, 70s show.
Mm-hmm. And Ashton Kutcher. Mm-hmm. And Danny Masterson. Mm-hmm. And Laura Prepon. Mm-hmm. And good old Wilmer Valderrama. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so all 6 of them got their big break on that show.
But going back to this now.
Yep. And now we'll get into the Amazing Spider-Man series.
I don't think the first one's that bad.
I didn't say it was bad.
I mean, I don't think Doc or Reptile called Lizard Man. I don't remember exactly. Dr. Connor. I'll just call him Dr. Connor.
No, the Lizard. The
Lizard, but he's just Dr. Connor, right? Because that's the doctor. Which is kind of weird because, in the...
Did you like Andrew Garfield?
Yeah.
It's his interpretation.
I think...
It's very emo to me.
It's kind of weird because I think while Maguire... And I've always seen this, like, Maguire's the good Peter Parker, but Andrew Garfield's a better Spider-Man, you know what I mean? As in, like, they're separate, they're different in their own way, because the problem with, like, Maguire is, he looked fucking old, and, he wasn't as charismatic, he was more serious, while, the other Spider-Man...
was too depressing. Yeah. He was depressing.
He was depressing, but he was funny when he was Spider-Man, because he was quipping and being a little shit, which he's supposed to.
Even though I never really pictured Andrew Garfield as that kind of type of actor. I was excited that he was cast because I remember when I saw The Social Network for the first time, I'm like, this guy's going to place. Then it said he was Spider-Man. I'm like, perfect, okay. I mean, that's cool.
Like I said, I liked him, and honestly, I feel like, even though, like, the married, the Kirsten Dunst and Tobey Maguire romance is great.
Peter and Mary Jane.
The Peter and Mary Jane one.
You like him and Gwen Stacy.
I think the Gwen Stacy one was more better.
Well, here's why that was better. Well, not just that, but also, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone were dating at the time, so that's kind of why.
Better.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I do know that it was going to end like that in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Here's why I knew that was going to happen, and I'm really sorry we're getting off topic, but I never really talked to Matt about the Spider-Man movies.
We're going in depth, man. Come
on. Here's the thing. Here's the deal. I remember there was a photo that came out of Emma Stone on set, and I'm like, I know that outfit. I know that outfit.
The comics, right?
Because I read the comic where Gwen Stacy dies, and I was like, she's gonna die in the movie.
I mean, I'd be more interested to see what happened, like, because the whole Spider-Gwen character that recently they made, where she's just basically Gwen Stacy but as Spider-Man. Which you've heard of that one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would be interested to see what they would do with that one time in a Spider-Man movie. Maybe, hopefully do an Homecoming.
Yeah, and speaking of, Gwen Stacy, you said your thoughts on the first Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, did I ever tell you I forgot if I mentioned on the podcast my alternate ending to Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't remember.
Your alternate ending? We didn't do the podcast when the second one came out.
I remember because
when the second one 2014? It was like...
Yeah.
That's right. I remember. That was the summer, like, Days of Future Past was the best movie for me. Guardians was your favorite. My worst was Transformers. Your worst was Expendables 3. And Spider-Man was the first movie that summer. I remember. That was the first movie that came out that summer.
Because I remember, I'm just going to spoil it, because who gives a shit, alright?
What, about me?
Because about how Harry shows up as Green Goblin or Hobgoblin, wherever Goblin he is.
Yes.
He's like, oh, hey, Spider-Man, drops Gwen, dies, then, like, just gets knocked out.
Yes.
That's it, end with him, and I'm like, that's stupid.
But...
Because they were hyping it up.
We didn't lean into your thoughts into the movie.
Well, see...
Could you say if you liked the movie or not?
Well, I didn't like Spider-Man 2, because I was pissed. I was like...
See, at the time, I was like, it was okay, but then I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah,
well, like, no, what I thought about, I'm like, Electro is fine. I don't have a problem with Electro, even though he's kind of wacky a bit, you know?
Yeah. I honestly just realized, I forgot that he was even in that movie.
I mean, Rhino was a... Why the fuck do you need Rhino?
Paul Giamatti.
I don't know why you needed Rhino, I really don't know.
Oh, Paul.
That was an unnecessary
What a waste. What a waste of Paul Giamatti.
And then... Again, because I really liked what they did with Harry Osborn in that movie. But I'm like, you wasted it. You know what I mean? Because they could have carried it over to the third movie. And it would have been like... And then, it would have been more dramatic. Maybe halfway through the movie that happens to Gwen Stacy. It's like, oh, fuck.
But then... They canceled it, and then Sony.
Well, if that didn't happen, and it was just focusing on Electro, it might have been better. You know what I mean? Which then they would have made a third movie, and then the Sinister Six stuff would have happened, and then that whole thing with Gwen Stacy dying would be a lot more impactful.
Well, who knows if they're going to make a Sinister Six movie?
And not like, oh my gosh.
But now let's lead into the thing. Okay, so in 2015, and I told Matt this was like a week before we even started the podcast. They announced that Marvel and they announced like early in 2015 that Marvel and Sony, excuse me, teamed up for the rights and they're going to make a Spider-Man movie.
Oh, I forgot.
That June, they announced that the movie will be coming out in 2017. They announced that John Watts was going to direct it, and they announced that the guy that was going to be playing Spider-Man was young Tom Holland, who was relatively unknown. Well, he was only in like one movie before, and that was The Impossible, which was the Naomi Watts Tsunami movie, which I think is fantastic. He was great in that. Like, I remember when I watched it, I'm like, this kid is going places because this kid was great. Like, having good back and forth with Naomi Watts. Even though it was the most like dramatic movie ever, it was depressing as hell. The MCU at that time was doing good because I think that was like a week or two before Ant-Man came out, and Ant-Man turned out to be fantastic. So I was like very tired. Like, I was like, okay, I don't know how they're going to do this. But then they announced that he was going to make his first appearance in Civil War, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. What I loved about his interpretation in Civil War, which that was one of the film's highlights to me, those 2 or 3 scenes that Spider-Man was in, I was like, Tom Holland, he's good as Spider-Man. I like him as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Even though his screen time was minimal, I liked him. I liked him a lot in the movie. I like how when his first on the roofs, when his storyline begins, he already had got bitten by a spider. Uncle Ben had already died. We didn't have to see the Uncle Ben gets killed, him getting bitten by the spider. So I was like, okay, I'm hoping that in the Spider-Man movie it doesn't turn out that way. And then they announced the Spider-Man movie was going to take place after Civil War, and I'm like, perfect. So we're not going to have to sit through another origin story. That's awesome. So when the trailers came out, I was like, okay, this looks very cool. I was interested in it. I was very cautious walking in because Sony might have gotten their hands on it. I was like, okay, I hope they don't over push this and anything, but also I hope John Watts had a lot of stuff to do. Obviously bring back Spider-Man, tie it into the MCU, not make the same origin story that has already happened twice, and he had a big task, and I was really excited for it because I love the MCU. But yeah, I was still interested in the movie, but just cautious walking into it. Matt, what were your expectations for the movie?
I didn't have high expectations.
I didn't have high expectations
mainly
either.
because they showed everything in the trailers. Well, mostly everything.
The second trailer.
Mostly everything, I say, because there is some things we didn't expect.
Yes.
But it had more to pertain to the third act of the movie. But I'm going to show you 2 things that I mentioned. I forgot to mention. One, I forgot that Peter's father was alive in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
And then 2, I still think that Sam Raimi did the Uncle Ben thing better.
Yeah.
Because, Sandman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know that movie's not that good, but I love Sandman in that.
I think everybody liked Sandman.
Because he's so good. And it's like sad. It's like, oh.
Because Thomas Hayden Church is a great actor.
No, it's just like what he's going through is so relatable. You're
yes,
like,
it's well, I can't say, I don't have a kid.
No, but for most people, it's like, it's sad. You know?
Yes. He was a villain with layers, like in
An Onion, and he wasn't a bad guy either.
No, he was not a bad guy. He wasn't a good guy either, but he wasn't a bad guy.
Well, I guess when we get to the review, I'll say that's where I see a lot of him, Michael Keaton, as Vulture, but, he's not a bad guy, but he's not a good guy. But when I heard about, Sony are going to sell the rights, I'm like, well, shit, they finally noticed.
Well, they're not selling it, they're splitting it.
But you know what I mean, like selling it.
Yes, they're giving it to the MCU.
Hey, MCU, you want a patent? Yeah. So, you're like, yeah. Because, MCU is everything except for, mutants. And, in the Spider-Man universe, so like, yeah. But, yeah, it was pretty, I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then we saw him in Civil War. I remember we should mention that originally everyone was saying, oh, it's going to be Ace of Butterfield. You're like, no! Remember?
He was the front runner at one point. No, you were just like, whatever. I don't care.
You were like, no,
because that kid is the most emo actor in Hollywood. He is so fucking bad. He was fine in Hugo, and that's it. I didn't like him. I didn't like him in the striped pajamas. I didn't like him in Ender's Game. I didn't like him in Miss Peregrine. I don't like that kid. I don't think that kid's a talented actor whatsoever.
I know he's a kid and all, like in Boy in the Striped Pajamas, but I think he's a dumbass. I'm sorry, the character, at least in that movie.
Yeah,
because I think he would notice, like, hey, maybe I shouldn't go in there.
Yeah,
fucking. Then again, that movie made one of my favorite meme pictures ever.
Meme pictures?
You ever seen the meme picture of that boy in the striped pajamas?
Yes, I've seen
that.
That's
a great one.
Yes, I've seen that one. I've seen that one.
It's so fucked up, but it's so good.
Yep.
And when Tom Holland, I didn't see The Impossible, so I didn't have anything to comment on Tom Holland. But in Civil War...
but also, like, the thing is, like, when they announced this John Watts guy, you and I, when it came out...
No, neither. I had no...
No. Like, we watched Cop Car, like, when it came out, and I thought Cop Car was really good.
It's a good movie. Not really rewatchable.
You can't get enough of the bacon.
You can't have the bacon, but still, it was like one of those movies, like, it's a good one-sit movie.
One-time watch.
It's a good one-time watch, but I can never see myself watching it. Except for maybe that one scene, like, shootout scene in that movie.
That was good.
Like,
good shit.
End.
It's good shit, like good as cheese.
But it was great because it kind of like took all the side stories and like.
Yeah. So anything else you have to say with expectations before we get?
Well, let's see. Because like I said,
well, you said like with Civil War.
Civil War, he was pretty good. Under Ruth. Yeah.
Hey everyone.
And I liked Civil War. Well, I mean,
we loved Civil War.
We love it, but when Winter Soldier, then Winter Soldier's better, but.
In terms of filmmaking, yes. In terms of rewatchability, Civil War is the more rewatchable one.
Yeah, I've seen Winter Soldier more than Civil War.
I've only seen Civil War
once, and I think I've watched.
No, I saw it twice in the theater. I saw it with you guys, and then I saw it with my parents. Have I watched it? It's on Netflix. It's funny because when it came out on Netflix, I didn't even watch it. I still haven't seen it since it came out. So it's been a year since I've seen Civil War. I remember it very well from front to back, but.
I mean, I remember we still had different opinions on Daniel Bruhl as a villain.
I thought he was good. I don't think he was incredible.
He was better than most of the villains they had before, so I was like,
yeah, but his character was still a little...
Well, I think that's what I'm saying.
His performance was good. The character was...
But I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this.
We gotta get
I know, but I'm sorry. I want to talk about because I like talking about in depth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but we're not gonna spoil the movie. If Matt spoils the movie, then we're done.
There's a twist I don't want to spoil. That's like amazing. But
in what?
In Spider-Man: Homecoming. But
I thought you were talking about Civil War.
No, but let's just say it's kind of carrying over from Guardians. What they did, kind of.
That might be giving stuff away. Just
not enough. They won't know. They don't know what I'm exactly saying.
Yeah.
But, that gives you a hint if you're smart, right?
Yep.
But, yeah, seeing the trailers, that's where I was kind of like, you know what I mean? Because while the trailers were good, I feel like they were showing the whole movie.
The first trailer didn't spoil anything.
The
second trailer, because they showed,
It's like 3 minutes long. It's like, my fucking God.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like they spoil pretty much 2/3 of the movie.
And they also made, we'll talk about a certain character later on,
But yeah, but at least the good thing.
You were still excited,
yeah,
right?
because I was still excited mainly because Tom Holland, and I wanted to see Michael Keaton.
Yeah, and also you like the MCU.
Yes, the MCU, obviously, because we're going to see all the MCU movies, even though I haven't seen Thor, because I'm a fucking hypocrite. But yeah,
crazy.
I've seen it all, but Thor.
It's crazy.
I remember when I saw Avengers, I'm like, who the fuck's Loki? Other than what I know of him already from like non-comic books.
I don't know how you haven't seen Thor. I'm sorry, that's just ridiculous.
I feel bad because that's like one of the best ones. God damn.
Spider-Man: Homecoming. This is also the second MCU movie this year. We had Guardians in May, and we have Thor coming out in November. I saw this movie twice. I wanted to see it a second time just so I could give my just think about how I feel about the movie overall. And I have to say, this movie was really fucking good. I really liked it a lot. I thought the acting was great. I thought the action sequences were a lot of fun. I thought it was really funny. I love the homages that they paid to John Hughes. I think it's the most grounded Spider-Man movie we have. And in the end, it showcases that, not all Marvel movies have to be dark. They could be lighthearted, and this is definitely Marvel's most lighthearted movie to date. But that's not a bad thing, because in the end, Spider-Man Homecoming did a pretty big task of being the second reboot for Spider-Man, and it did a really good job. I really liked the movie a lot. Matt, what did you think of Spider-Man Homecoming?
God, it's so hard, because it's like half of me tearing, it's like, Raimi's better, but the other half is like, but Homecoming's really good.
We need to talk about... We can't... You're just saying that because of the review that I showed you.
Mainly, I need most of the reviews, like, I'm like...
You gotta give your own opinion.
Because you see the...
Your own opinion. Your own opinion. Your own opinion as you saw the movie yourself. You can't...
I'm not trying to copy, but it's like, fuck, I grew up with the Raimis, you know? And I'm like,
so did I!
And
But
I'm like,
we
the
need to
Raimis
talk...
are so good!
No, we have to talk about it as its own thing, Matt.
Hey?
We need to talk about it as its own thing.
That's what I'm saying, like...
Its own thing, Matt.
That's the only way we can review this properly, is to talk about his own thing, because honestly, if we bring Raimi into this, we're going to say Raimi's better. Because, you know...
Raimi is better, okay?
Because, you know why?
Well,
It's darker.
Raimi's better, the end. Now let's...
Because it's darker and all that, but
yes. Can you just say, as a movie itself, like, push away the Raimi films, push away the Mark Webb films, as this movie, just as its own thing. What did you think?
It's a fun, entertaining movie.
Uh-oh, I know where you're going with this.
That was good.
After watching all these reviews, you're like, oh, my grade is going down, just like Alien Covenant.
No. It's fun, entertaining, but it's really good. That's the thing. With small issues, but it's good.
Alright, fine. Alright, directing. Here we go. John Watts, for some guy transitioned from indie to blockbuster, he did good, following the typical path of all these big studios getting, you know, these little unknown, relatively young filmmakers and getting them to direct these high-octane, big-budget blockbusters. The direction for this movie, like I said, is a coming-of-age movie. This is Marvel's coming-of-age story. And it was really, really, really engaging. I thought he directed the movie very, very well. I like the progression of how, like, Peter's main goal in this movie is just to impress Tony Stark so that he could be an Avenger. And, you know, as Tony Stark keeps on resisting him, you know, Peter's trying to do everything he can to save New York City. You know, he's a 15-year-old kid. That's the thing that was so great about this movie. It felt the most... Like, he felt like a teenager. He said things teenagers would say. He didn't feel like an adult. That's the thing with the other two. They felt so much... They felt older than they were supposed to be. And instead, Tom Holland brought the teenage flair to this version of Peter Parker. I thought the movie was just really well directed. I think John Watts did a terrific job bringing the Spider-Man story. And having big tasks of not doing an origin story, he did a pretty good job. I really like the progression of the characters. I like the flow of the movie. Mm-hmm. I really like the coming-of-age vibe of it. My favorite aspect of this movie was mainly the high school. I love when he's Spider-Man, but I really love when he's Peter Parker. I love when he's Peter Parker. I think it's really cool and engaging when he's Peter Parker because it's just a kid. You know, we don't really get grounded Marvel movies that much. I mean, people said Ant-Man was grounded in some way. It kind of was, but there was still a lot of action here. And there's still, I mean, there is a lot of action here, but I really like the way that he furthered along the character of Spider-Man, and I just thought this was a really well-directed movie.
Yeah, that's because, you know, how Ant-Man was, like, relatable to parents, or dads, I should say. Yeah. You know, because, like, oh, he has a child and all that, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Well, like, you know, with you know, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is more related to, like, teenagers. Because, you know, they're like, oh, hey, you know, we gotta deal with school and all this shit. And if I remember, though, too, I think he goes to, like, a super, like... Well, I mean, I think it's, like, a special academy, if I remember. I don't think it's a normal school, if I recall, in this movie. Just from, you know, background research and stuff. Because, you know, there's a lot of smart people at his school. And he's, you know, he's really good. And I love how John Watts, like, again, like, grounded it, but made it feel like a John Hughes movie. Yes. Even, like, the credits were like, John Hughes, man. Yeah. It was so good. Like, everything was basically John Hughes music from those movies. There's even a reference to, like, a John Hughes movie in the movie. It's fucking fantastic. Mm-hmm.
Some people were like, it's a little annoying, but I thought it was great. It's one of the movie that they reference is one of my all-time favorite movies.
It's kind of weird because it's like two different tones of a movie. You got like the John Hughes, and then you got the Marvel superhero.
Yeah, exactly. It's a John Hughes movie, except it has a superhero in it.
Yeah, and it's like weird, but it works, which is strange because it sounds like it wouldn't work, but it does. And then bringing in Tony Stark is like to replace the Uncle Ben, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, like early on, I do find that funny that Tony Stark joked about Aunt May. With the whole thing that everyone's speculating, oh, Aunt May and Tony Stark are gonna hook up. I remember, I find that funny. They joked about that in the movie. If I remember when he said like something, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was pretty funny. And I liked how that whole flow, because it didn't really interfere with the movie, so he did a good job of trying to make it detached as its own movie.
Yeah.
And also while creating its own world, but at the same time creating a connected world. I guess kind of like in Guardians, but not as like isolated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting how they do that.
Yeah.
In this movie. And I mean, it was mostly well directed. Mostly well directed for the most part. No bad performances. And yeah, he did a good job.
When it comes to the writing, it's crazy. This movie had 6 screenwriters, similar to a movie that came out last month called The Mummy. The dialogue is not bad at all. The comedy is really strong in this movie. I really thought the movie was really funny. I like the development towards the characters. I will say this, like, I don't want to spoil anything about, Michael Keaton's character, but, obviously he's the Vulture. Everyone knows that, but, the development surrounding his character was really fantastic, and I'll say why. It's because most of these Marvel villains, and pretty much most superhero villains, they're not really well developed. Like, they're like, oh, they're evil and that's it. What happens with his character, and the reason why he becomes evil, it's really subtle, and it's really interesting because, I don't want to say it, but I'm just going to say right now, when the movie begins, he's not a bad guy at all. He may be very cocky, but he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy deep down, and the reason why he goes bad is for a understandable reason, and it was so compelling that I was just like, we finally get a Marvel villain that is so well fleshed out, that isn't just bad. They have moments, they have layers, they have all this stuff. It's great. I thought, like, the storyline was really interesting. Yeah, I just think that it's a simple story. Like, it's definitely a simple story. It's just Peter Parker, going through high school and then trying to impress Tony Stark by being Spider-Man. And then he has to fight the Vulture, who's stealing some stuff from underground, and he's going crazy and trying to build things. So yeah. In terms of the writing, I thought it was really well handled. The writing.
It's funny because I feel like saying it's just about Tom Holland being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yes. Can you just be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
Yeah, I like how in this Phase 3 they've actually, I think, kind of start to figure out how they can make the villains good.
I mean,
it's like, but
let's see. What is start?
So
did Civil War start Phase 3, or was it
Ant-Man? I think Ant-Man, but like Ant-Man, Corey Stoll's a lot better than most of the villains, but he's still weak.
Yeah, and then in Civil War,
Daniel Bruhl, he was better, and then they had Ego, which was pretty good.
No, you forgetting Doctor Strange. Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen, well, he was creepy, but they didn't give him enough context. That's the problem.
No, they didn't.
But then that was kind of a step back. But then they had Ego, and Ego was pretty good.
Kurt Russell was fantastic.
It's fantastic as Ego, but I mean, compared to the Vulture, now it's kind of hard to say because Vulture is like.
I think this is the best MCU villain since Loki.
Yeah,
I think it's the best MCU villain
and
because I mean, the character may not be my favorite one, but it's the fact that they actually developed him and made him a compelling villain. Because let's look at all the villains. Okay,
well, we should mention he's a joke villain.
All right, we're gonna go off topic again, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. So we had Jeff Bridges in the first. We had Jeff Bridges in the first Iron Man. He was like
he was his butler.
Not butler. He was like his
secretary. I guess it's weird.
It was something. He was like the head.
But he had to working with the terrorists.
Yeah, and then in Incredible Hulk, it was Tim Roth.
But that was a fine villain. He was.
Who was he again?
He was the dude who like shot himself up and became the Abomination.
And then in Iron Man 2, we had Mickey Rourke,
decent,
who was good. And then we had Thor, who was, Loki, obviously. What was after that?
What was Loki and
Destroyer,
what was after that?
Right? What came out after that?
Wasn't it Loki and Destroyer in Thor? Well, it's like both.
No, it was Loki.
But Loki used the Destroyer? I don't know. I know there's a Destroyer.
In the first Avenger.
No, yeah, Captain America was
it was Red Skull, who was incredible.
Best of the first, until, Loki, except for Loki, but the best.
And then, obviously, Avengers, Loki was the villain again. And then what came? Iron Man 3, we had Ben Kingsley. I mean,
dude,
really
but that was a good fake out. Well,
is it really a spoiler at this point?
We see, it's like one of those, I like the idea. I like it so much, that fake out.
Clever marketing!
It's a good
fake out. You
clever
fuckers
It's a good fake out, but I feel like it was done in bad taste, where people thought, oh, this is fucking cheap, but it's like, oh.
If you didn't see any trailers or didn't know anything, then I probably wouldn't have been a big
I feel like if it feels better if you don't watch a trailer, just watch the movie, you're like, oh shit, you know?
Yeah. And then Thor 2... I don't even remember who the villain was.
Thor 2 was that fucking weird elf dude. That weird elf dude.
Hands down, that is the worst villain in the series. That is the worst villain.
And it wasn't bad. It just
Winter Soldier, obviously, is it Winter
Robert
Soldier
Redford.
or Robert
It's more
Redford?
Robert Redford, but for behind the scenes, it's more Robert Redford.
Yeah.
But Winter Soldier's the guy who has to do the dirty work, and
then
then you have Crossbones as well.
And then you had the first Guardians, who was what was his name?
It was Ronan the Accuser.
Yes, played by Lee Pace.
I still liked him, man.
I liked him too. Then Age of Ultron, obviously Ultron, who didn't get enough, who was good. James Spader was fantastic.
We needed that cut, Marvel. We needed that cut. We needed that extra half-an-hour cut.
Yes. And then what was that? Ant-Man, Corey Stoll, and then blah blah blah, so on. So go back to your thoughts on the whole thing. I'm sorry we went off topic about the
I agree.
thing.
Vulture is like one of the best developed because he kind of feels like a Green Goblin in a way, or Doc Ock.
See, some people were complaining about that he had vibes of like the Green Goblin.
Well, we don't
want to spoil anything, but
no, he's nothing. No, he doesn't even. Don't even worry. It doesn't even go in the Green Goblin direction. All right. So don't worry about that. I'm just going to say that right now, get it out of the way. It does not go in Green Goblin territory. Where some butler has to explain to Harry about how he died, but
Your father was the one who saved me.
Harry, your father was a good man.
He was a good man.
That exposition scene where Harry finally noticed. Jesus. I'm a dickhead. No.
Yes.
But that that whole thing, because the Vulture, the reason why I say that, he's very involved in the story, unlike a lot of villains.
Yeah.
It's kind of like on the Loki levels involved, where it kind of cuts back to him, showing him doing his own thing, and then to Tom Holland and how it crosses paths. I'm not saying how it crosses paths, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But, and all that, and then when that whole twist happens, it's like, wow. That's kind of not a crazy twist, but it's like, we didn't expect you to do that.
Yeah.
And it's gives even more to the Vulture as well. And no, he's not his father. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that right now. He's not his father. That would be funny, though, but he's not.
Who are you talking about?
If Vulture was Peter Parker's father. That'd be funny. That would be pretty funny, actually. I'd be like, what?
Oh, my God, Matt. Good job, Matt.
What?
Good job, Matt.
Yeah,
good job for saying that. Good job.
But yeah,
now I'm mad.
But yeah, I liked what they did with that, and I like again how they didn't put too much of Tony Stark in there, and use more of Jon Favreau.
His name is Happy Hogan.
Happy Hogan, I mean, Happy Hogan, because after Iron Man 3, we didn't see him that much. And I'm like, I miss Jon Favreau. And then they had him in this for a good majority of the movie. I'm like, yes.
Well, Jon Favreau is busy directing stuff, you ass.
The Jungle Book and Lion King,
yes. Yes. Yeah, so I guess that's it with your thoughts on the writing. Mm-hmm. Now, the action sequences, to me, personally, and this is kind of a minor flaw with the movie, I feel like they weren't as memorable as most Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We can't keep comparing it to Sam Raimi. The only sequence to me that felt really memorable was the Washington Monument sequence, which I thought was fantastic. I liked the ferry sequence. I liked the end sequence. I liked the action, but I didn't love it like I wanted to. Like in previous Marvel movies, I'm like, oh, the action's fantastic. Here, it's fine. It's the Washington Monument sequence is fantastic, though.
Yeah, it sounds like Ghost Protocol to you, kind of. You know, like where like yeah, it had good action, but it wasn't memorable. Except
No,
for
Ghost
one
Protocol was not a memorable movie at all.
But you know what I mean, though. Like, it had good action, but it was only one scene was memorable, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, because that Washington Mommy scene was like one of the highest stakes scenes in the movie. You know, we're like, oh shit, actual like important people could die.
Oh shit. Oh shit! Oh shit!
Imagine Spider-Man like exploding, like oh shit! Oh shit!
No,
oh,
it's like that song from Neighbors. The oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Seth Rogen's just saying that. Oh
yes.
shit!
Yes.
Yeah. Like I have to agree with you because again, I don't want to say Sam Raimi, but fuck, hey, if you have to compare it, Sam Raimi did a better job with those action scenes.
Yes.
Because. I mean, I don't want to sound like a certain critic, okay?
We all know who he's going to sound like.
Yes, but I have to agree with him. Yeah, Sam Raimi had a lot of stakes in his action scenes.
Yes.
Like, involving, like, personal shit. It was, like, always personal to action scenes in the movie.
Yes.
Even if it's just a little kid being dropped off a building by Green Goblin or something.
Yep.
So, I just loved how all of those... You know, like, in those movies were just like... Even in Spider-Man 3, the ending... Like, the last action scene, if you want to call it a CGI fest, you mean? It's still incredible and has high stakes. And I think one of my favorite action scenes from all three movies... You know, the Venom, X-Sandman, X-Spider-Man, X-Harry...
I'm sorry.
What?
Look at this photo on Dylan's Instagram.
The fuck?
Read the caption. Read it out loud.
First picture from the set of the remake of Titanic. Oh, Dylan. We need to see him again. Oh, Dylan. Hey. I love Dylan now. I've only seen him twice and I love that man already.
That's a funny fucking picture. That is actual pure comedy gold. That's fantastic.
That is great.
That's fantastic.
Just put in the description of this video after.
No, also look it up. This is going to be brief, I'm sorry. But look at the photo that Ramen posted yesterday. It's the same photo. Look at I'm going to read you the caption. It says, Life of Pi Remastered, now on Blu-ray. And here's what I wrote. I wrote, screw the theatrical cut of Life of Pi. This is much better. 3 likes.
Yeah. Let's put these in chat. Oh, not chat. I mean, description. Hey,
maybe we'll see. But continue. Anything else you have to say about the action before we go on to the next part?
It's still like clean. It's clean action.
It's clean.
I mean, I did see in one like review someone mentioned shaky cam, and I didn't really see it that much. It's hard to tell.
Cam? I don't remember.
Maybe like no, but it wasn't like in fully. Like it was kind of like sometimes.
Maybe it depends on the format. No, it doesn't. I don't think
it doesn't switch format. No, not really that much. So
I mean, I saw the movie in regular. Mm-hmm. I saw it twice, so I saw it in both regular times and IMAX. The first time was in regular IMAX, IMAX 2D. Then the second time was in regular. So
like it's still good action. It's not horrible action,
but it's not like memorable like most MCU.
I mean, only ones I remember is again, like you said, the Washington Monument. I mean, the ferry one. Just
I mean, I brought up pretty much all the big action sequences.
I mean, the ferry one I remember just because the trailers.
And see, that's what they spoiled a lot in the trailers. They spoiled pretty much the entire ferry sequence.
And then and then like I would guess the last fight between
Spidey and Vulture,
because it's like very personal at that point. Because, I don't want to say why it's personal, but it's very personal. Yeah. And that's when, the stakes kind of picked up. I'm like, there we go.
Very short, though, that fight.
That is short, but it's a good fight.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to the editing, the movie's, 2 hours and 10 minutes. I will say that the movie's kind of... It's not boring at all, but it is kind of slow pace. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I think another issue is maybe the pacing. But...
Yeah. But it's not boring at all.
It's not a horrible pacing. It's just that it's all over the place.
But here's the thing, though. The movie's not boring at all.
No, because you're going through high school. It's Peter Parker's high school experience.
Oh, God. It made me think of high school. It's crazy that we graduated a year ago, and I'm just like...
It's funny, because they're all nerds, too, that school. I don't want to say how hard.
They're all nerds!
They're all nerds at that school, because they're all, special...
You're a nerd!
They're all special kids, but, it's funny, because, it's we still relate to them.
Yeah. We knew some nerds in school, some people that were academically genius.
TJ Wagner.
We can't say name. We shouldn't have said that name on that. No, don't find TJ Wagner, please.
Don't find TJ.
Don't find him, please. He's probably at Harvard right now or something. I don't know.
Don't find him or his sister. Don't.
He's probably at Harvard right now.
Don't find him.
He's probably at Harvard, invented the next Facebook right now or something. I don't know.
Like I said, don't find him or his sister. Don't.
Yeah. So when it comes to the acting, everybody did great. Tom Holland, once again, is incredible. He is so goddamn good. Mm-hmm. You know, I really love this kid a lot. You know, I love him on social media. I think he's awesome. You know, like I said, I really liked him in The Impossible. I liked him in Civil War, obviously. He also was in The Lost Savior Z, which came out earlier this year, which was really good.
He was the son, right? If I remember.
Yes, he was the son of Charlie Hunnam, correct. Jackson Teller.
Oh, that's right. Robert Pattinson was in that movie.
He was good in that, too. He was good. He was very good in that movie. That movie all around was very good.
I can't wait to see Good Time, though. Ugh.
Good Time. Looks like a good time.
Mm-hmm.
No alcohol required. That's a Jeremy Johns reference. He's a reviewer that we can bring up because I respect Jeremy.
That's why one day...
I respect Jeremy Johns.
I remember like that one Q&A question. I'm thinking one day just to straight up make like my own ones that are not like grade-based.
Yeah.
But, you know, because it's interesting.
Tom Holland, though, was really great. Like, he was fantastic in the comedic sequences. Obviously, he was great in the action sequences because he actually performed most of the stunts. Because if people don't know, Tom Holland is really good with gymnastics.
He's a fit kid.
Well, first of all, I don't know who trained the kid. The guy is fucking jacked. I want to know his workout routine. The guy's only 2 years older than us. What the fuck? I want to know his workout routine.
Calls up Tom Holland. Hey, who's your trainer?
Thomas... It's Bryan Sutfield.
You don't know who the fuck I am, but yeah.
You don't know who I am, but, you know... I'm a big fan, first of all. I think you should have gotten an Oscar nomination for The Impossible. But anyways, what's your workout routine? Thanks, bye.
And imagine...
what else was I going to say? But he really captured the naiveness of Peter Parker very, very well. Like I said, he had the teenage vibe to him. And also, he was really good in the dramatic sequences. All around, Tom Holland was phenomenal in this movie. My favorite sequence with him when it comes to his acting, and I'm not going to spoil it, there's a sequence where he's trapped under rubble, and he's legit crying, and I'm like, that's good shit. That's good acting right there. Tom Holland really crushed it. He is Peter Parker front to back, and he is probably my favorite Peter Parker and Spider-Man to date. I loved him so much in this movie. He was so fantastic.
The good thing about... the thing of Tom Holland, he's a great combination of both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. He looks like a nerd. He acts like a nerd. But he's...
And he also has that excitement in him.
Yeah, plus he's a pretty cocky son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Which, you know, that's what Spider-Man is. You know, like, he's supposed to be these alter egos. He's supposed to be a shy nerd on one hand, or an awkward nerd. And then on the other hand, he's supposed to be this very, like... you know, cocky bastard, like his alter ego, hey?
Yeah.
And he plays both perfectly, as well as, you know, he did great in all the action scenes. He looked legitimate, and it was good. You know, I really can't say anything wrong about him, because he's great. He's got that right fit, and that man's like, you know, 2 years older than us, but God, he still looks like he's like a 15-year-old.
You know what's funny? I remember when I saw Civil War, and my dad was like, what is this kid, like 12? Like, that's what my dad's like, what is this kid, 12?
No, this kid's like 20, he's like 20.
He's 21.
He's 21?
So,
he's like, my God.
He's my sister's age, so, you know, that's, my God.
That's what he's like, my God.
But any final thoughts on him?
I mean, he was great. I can't really say much else, because I think we've said enough about him.
He's marvelous.
I mean,
no pun intended. He's marvelous.
We knew he was going to be great, and we thought he was great.
I mean, he was great in Civil War, and obviously that greatness was going to spread over to this movie.
And I'm kind of interested now with the sequel for Homecoming, because I do know they announced that's going to be after, which I know we didn't talk about in the news, but that, you know, they confirmed that Homecoming 2 is coming out after Infinity War, and when Phase 4 happens, whatever Phase 4 is. So.
Yeah, it's going to take place like shortly after, like immediately after Infinity War.
I wonder
the movie's probably going to open up with him going,
ah! The movie's going to open up with him doing a certain thing involving Infinity War, and then show how wrecked New York is. Probably, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to reference a certain thing that's awesome in the beginning. Let's be honest here. This movie opens up awesome, and I don't want to say nothing.
Also, what was I going to say? I love how there's a really subtle sequence. This isn't really like it's funny because at one point he's like flying around, but he can't fly around because he has no idea where he is, and he's running on a golf course. I thought that scene was fucking fantastic. That was so funny.
And he
was just like, what am I doing? He's like, what am I doing? So, the subtlety is just perfect. All right, let's talk about Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton, the standout of this movie, right?
Michael Keaton is the standout of Homecoming without question. I love Michael Keaton a lot. He is one of my favorites right now in Hollywood. He has made a really strong comeback, you know, with Birdman, spotlight, and now this. I'm so happy that this guy is, back to form. I love Michael
back
Keaton.
to acting more like.
Also, this is the third time he's playing a man that flies. So, this is... First he played a bat, then he played a bird, and now he's playing another bird.
Too many wing things.
Too many wings. Why hasn't he played an eagle?
Can we get like a movie where just Michael Keaton makes fun of chicken wings and he's eating chicken wings?
Well, he did make fun of burgers because the founder.
But still, that'd be funny if he does like a KFC movie or something.
But he did a McDonald's movie.
I know, but it'd be funny just a KFC movie just because birds, chickens.
He says it with the most stern face. He's just like, yeah, I'm Michael Keaton. Chicken. KFC. Don't have it.
That would be pretty funny.
No, Michael Keaton, like we said, the Vulture is a very well-developed character. He is so menacing. He is so vile. But he's still like a really likable villain. Even though you want Spider-Man to take him down, you really do care about this character. But Michael Keaton crushed it. I knew he was going to crush it. I think Michael Keaton's fantastic. I still think he should have won the Oscar for Birdman. But that's a long discussion with me. I think he should have won, but it is what it is.
Just wasn't the time.
Hopefully he gets his Oscar soon. But yeah, Michael Keaton, fantastic.
Mikey Keaton, yes. Or we should
get closer to the microphone.
Should we say Batman?
Should we say Birdman?
I wish he did like a scene like that. That too bad he didn't make fun of that.
The Birdman.
He's like, but sir, how are you a vulture? You're a bird.
Michael Keaton just looks like a bird.
I mean, I like that he also,
from the side. He has that nose that makes him look like a bird. Then his mouth, so he kind of has the bird look to him. I don't know why.
Dude, he's born to play birds, man.
He's born to play. I mean, he played a bat, then he played a bird, and now he's playing another bird.
Well, a mechanical bird to be exact, but still a bird. It's funny how they took this character from the comics, who was like a fucking pushover joke villain, Brian, and they made it good, like really good. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of weird. They seem to take the most jokish fucking characters and they make them better than they are in the comics, which is pretty funny. Guardians of the Galaxy and all them.
Yeah.
Who would have known that Marvel's good at putting the weird, risky shit in?
They like to take risks.
Because you remember, like, how when they first announced that it was going to be Vulture, it was like, should it be Green Goblin? You know what I mean?
I didn't care. I wanted it to be a new villain. I wanted it to be a new villain. I wanted it to be a villain.
I was interested. I was like, oh, the Vulture.
I was fine like if they put Green Goblin later on.
Well, I do know that the next movie's going to have another unknown villain, they said, that's never been on. Which, again, from the post-credit scene, I think we can kind of agree with...
No spoilers, of course.
No, we're not going to spoil it, but from the mid-credit scene, we can kind of agree who it's probably going to be.
I guess we should also probably bring up the mid-credit scene was good. The post-credit scene
is
easily one of the best post-credit scenes in Marvel history.
Let's just say it's very similar to Deadpool, and that's all I'm going to say. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's great. It's great, that scene. But Michael Keaton, man, I don't know. I just with the look of him, like how like the Vulture looks, because he's got that. He's got like this like World War whatever, one of the wars, like it's like type of flight, like a flight jacket.
Yes.
It's like all the the fur and all that on. He's got his whole thing, his whole get up, and he looks like a fucking fighter pilot, but flying like a giant mechanical wing thing.
But performance,
his performance, he was like, oh man, he's so good.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of weird. Like there's it's kind of funny because there's like, some cliches that his villain does. But he makes fun of it, like, there's a certain scene, I don't want to say what happens, like, with, like, him and, like, all the henchmen in a room, and one of them fucks up and something happens, right?
Yes.
And it's funny because he's just like, oh, I thought that was this gun. He's like, no, that's over there. And it's like, oh, so I guess he didn't want to do that to that person.
Yeah.
And it's pretty funny, because they made fun of those own cliches that, if you know a cliche for a crime boss does, hey? And again, I like how relatable he was, because he's just a normal guy.
Yep.
And especially, the twist and all that made him even more likable. Because I'm kind of like, when that twist happens, I'm like, honestly, man, I would let him get away with it, eh? Because I'm like, yeah, he's doing it for a good reason, though.
Yeah.
He has his own good reason, even though it may not be the most morally sound, it's not a bad reason. And, I'm like, man, that's That's like, damn, hey.
Yep.
And that's why he's like one of the best villains, because they made him a human being.
That's a cool photo. Mm-hmm. No. This it's a photo that Tom Cruise released of Mission Impossible 6. I'll show you later.
All right. New news next week.
It's just a photo of the cast.
It's a tease for next week. Yeah.
Maybe. But any final thoughts on Michael Keaton before we go to the next person?
He was like, I expected him to be good, but I did not expect him to be like as prominent in the story as he was.
Yes.
I didn't think he was.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's time to talk about your doppelganger, Ned. Played by newcomer Jacob Baffelin, I believe his name is.
Ned.
Why
do I feel like that kid was...
He was good. He was funny. I liked his chemistry with Tom Holland, and yeah, he was pretty funny.
I mean, why does I feel like that guy looks like he could have been in that one movie that you watched with what's his face? Like where it was him and like that kid go into the wild or whatever. Was it directed by? It wasn't directed by Tia. No, I don't think it was.
Oh, you mean Hunts for the Wilder People?
Yeah.
That kid's gonna be in Deadpool 2.
Really?
Yeah, there was a photo that Ryan Reynolds released a while back. I got snot on my arm! Gesundheit!
Call an ambulance!
Call an ambulance!
Oh, wait, that way.
I mean, but yeah, the kid was great. Matt, talk about your thoughts on the kid.
The kid was pretty good. I do feel like that most of the... Like, because there's, like, only some jokes that, like... are not, like, they just drop and they're not funny. Somewhat with him, just because of his, like, his nature, because he's kind of like the best way to describe him, he's like the over-obsessed kid, I guess you could say, who really wants to, be like, oh, I want to help, superheroes and shit. I want to be one of those people. But, he's super over-obsessed and asking Peter a lot of questions. And there is, like, a lot of funny scenes that, honestly, a lot of us would probably say what he says. But at the same time, I feel like there's just a few, not a lot, but just a few drop jokes with him. But I think for the most part, he was pretty good.
Who do we talk about next? Let's talk about Zendaya.
Zendaya.
As
Michelle.
Zendaya. Zendaya. Good old Zendaya.
We can't really...
She was fine. She was fine. Mm-hmm. She was fine.
I find her interactions with Peter funny. Just because she would come out of nowhere.
Because she's a bitch.
Well, no, because
she came out of nowhere, which I guess was funny, and,
she was just, like, always there, always watching. And
she kind of reminded me of Ali Sheedy's character from The Breakfast Club.
Yeah. But
not just because of the look, but also kind of the attitude.
She's, like, very, like, stern and, like, edgy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's like, I don't give a fuck about anything.
Yeah, fuck you. This funny...
Fuck you, man.
She had pretty funny, like, lines, though, she said.
Yeah.
Why are you in detention? Just because I like to draw people.
Yeah.
But there's a certain thing with her character.
I feel like everybody knows at this point. I predicted it. I talked about it on the podcast last year.
Should we just say it?
No.
Even though.
No.
All right.
No spoilers, Matt.
Even if everybody knows.
No spoilers.
Do it for the greater good.
No spoilers.
Do it for the greater
Don't touch my hands. You sneeze in that hand.
How am I touching your hands? I'm touching your foot.
No, don't put your hand on my foot.
Don't touch my hands.
Don't put your hand on my foot.
You have hand for feet now?
You sneezed on me.
You have hand for feet now.
Shut up, boy.
But there's like... I mean, I'll just say it for the greater good. I'm not going to say it, right?
Good.
The greats are good.
Listen, we don't want to spoil it for anyone.
No, but if you're not stupid, you probably know what it is.
All right, there's going to be...
I didn't actually,
There's going to be... How many more perform? Let's see. 3 more. We'll do
Tony
3
Stark,
more.
Aunt May, and...
Good old Happy Hogan.
Happy Hogan, yeah.
Okay, and Marissa Tomei, Aunt May's not really in the movie a lot, but she was good. Mm-hmm. And my God, wow, she is hot. Still looks good. Listen, when I get married, I hope my wife, at however old she is, she's like in her early 50s, I hope my wife looks that good.
It's funny because it's kind of weird because, again, like how we said, there's no Uncle Ben, but like it feels like they don't even mention him.
They do mention him in the quieter way, like in a very... They don't say, "Oh, Uncle Ben." They say,
"Oh, Uncle Ben's dead."
They just say it in like a subtle manner.
Yeah, which is interesting, and they don't really bring it up, which is, I guess, different. But she's, for the most part, she's not in a lot, but she's pretty important in one part of the movie. Like with the certain, with the thing in the title. I'm not gonna say what it is. But the title of the movie, hey.
Mm-hmm.
But she does have one of the funniest lines in the movie.
Yep.
I don't want to say it. It's a perfect ending to the movie, and it's great.
Yep.
She was, she's hot.
You could say it louder.
She's hot.
Louder!
She's like hot for like 40 something.
She's in her 50s. I just said that.
She's in her 50s.
Well, all right, let's ask Siri. Let's ask good old Siri.
That's right. You're getting all the information on this podcast.
How old is Marissa Tomei?
Okay, I found this on the web for
all right. That's not helpful. How old is Marissa Tomei?
Here's what I've...
No! How old is Marissa Tomei?
Did you...
No! I'm going to type it. How old is Marissa Tomei?
Technical...
52 years, 7 months, 5 days.
That's just kind of...
52?! God damn! Okay, I think we should just talk about Downey. Listen, Downey,
I think we should just talk about Downey.
Downey, okay.
After saying her age, holy shit, let's talk about the person.
Alright, Robert Downey Jr., I mean, it's great that Tony Stark's not in the movie a lot. I like the way they put him in the movie. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish they didn't have. I wish this was like a standalone MCU movie without injecting the characters, but it's understandable because, he created the suit for Spider-Man.
He brought him into the Civil War.
He brought him into this, all of this, so, makes sense.
He was his trump card.
What?
He was his trump card.
Trump card?
Or trap card, trump card. Wait,
Trump card?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You never heard of the expression trump card?
What does that mean?
That means it's like you're like, you got the trick up your sleeve, it's like your trick.
Oh, okay.
Like,
but yeah, Downey, of course, he's played Iron Man about, this is the 7th time, I think. So, let's see. Actually, wait, let's see. Okay, first 2 Avengers, all 3 Iron Man, Civil War, yeah, that's 7 times, so, yeah.
That man still is Tony Stark.
Yep, and now Jon Favreau is Happy Hogan. Fantastic.
What a
great addition to the cast.
I didn't even know he was going to be in the movie. I mean, I didn't know he was going to be in it, and I'm like, as soon as I saw that first, I'm like, Jon Favreau! You know what I mean? You could. Because, like I said, the last time I saw him was in, Iron Man 3. So I was like, Jon Favreau! Because, Iron Man 3 was, laid in a fucking bed for the entire movie.
Yeah.
But, and that's I'm like, yeah, he's back. He's in a decent amount. And honestly, he's in it more than Tony Stark is.
Yes.
And it's kind of funny, the relationship between him and Peter Parker. Because he's kind of like the guy who's supposed to be, giving, relaying information to Tony.
Also, is it just me? I was talking to my parents about this because they saw the movie this morning. Jon Favreau, he's like Jonah Hill for me when it comes to the weight. He's fat, then skinny, then fat, then skinny, then fat. I just watch a few months? I was just watching Swingers a few months ago, and he's really skinny now. Now look at him here; he's so fucking fat.
God, when I think of, I don't know. Anytime I think of Jon Favreau, I always have that image of him in Chef, with the gray beard and the curly hair and all that. You know what I mean?
Now, Chef is a quality movie. That guy, Jon Favreau, is a terrific filmmaker.
The ultimate food porn movie.
Yes. Yes. In terms of the other actors in the movie, everyone did a good job. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a weak spot with any of the actors. There were people in the movie that I forgot were even in it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention the kid is from the Grand Budapest
Yes,
Hotel.
he was in that. Yes,
he's Flash, who's a dickhead, but he's
not a physical bully. He's a verbal bully.
Yeah, and this unlike other Flash.
It's weird that you see the kid from Grand Budapest Hotel who's the sweetest, kindest kid ever. In
and he became an asshole now.
Yeah, that he's an asshole in this. He was also in Dope, which was fucking good. So, But other than that, Spider-Man Homecoming was really solid. Great addition to the MCU. While some of the action sequences may not be memorable and the pacing may be a little iffy, I thought the movie from beginning to end was an absolute delight, and it's great seeing Spider-Man in the form that he should have been from the beginning. Even though the Raimi films are good, it's nice to know that Spider-Man has that teenage vibe to it because he is a kid and it works very well. So I really, really had a great time with Spider-Man Homecoming.
I guess, and it's kind of like the same situation when you compare The Dark Knight to like other Batman movies.
No, the Dark Knight trilogy to like the Tim Burton Batman movies.
Or no, not just that, or just the new ones too.
Yeah. Well, even though there's only been one
but
so
still,
far.
Well, technically there's going to be two later this year. But,
yeah.
But you know, my point is, it's kind of like comparing two movies that are just completely different.
Yes.
As in, the Dark Knight are supposed to be grounded, dark, realistic movies. Say they're again realistic. Well, the new DC EU ones are supposed to be more dark but more over the top and fun.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like saying the same thing with Raimi's is a dark, grounded. Well, I don't know if you would say grounded because Peter Parker looks like a 25-year-old man.
Yeah.
In those movies.
Yes.
But like you have that, but it's more of a grounded one, and then you compare this. This is more again of a more fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess that's the best comparison I can make with this situation. And honestly, it's still a really good movie, aside from the pacing and just some of like the action scenes not being like memorable. Aside from like the later ones.
Yes.
It still was a really good movie.
Matt, what would you grade it?
I would give it. I don't want to give it too many A's, but I want to give it an A- because it does not deserve a B+. It deserves an A-. It's still a really good movie, and it was better than I thought it would be.
Same. I'm going A- as well. I really enjoyed the movie,
especially after seeing spoilers. After seeing The Big Sick today, which is probably going to be up there
in your top 10.
It's going to be in my top 10. Top 10, yeah. Because
I haven't seen it yet. I cannot wait to watch it.
I'll be honest, I loved it more than Trainwreck. I'm like, man.
Yeah, but that's different because Trainwreck, is directed by Judd Apatow. This was produced by Judd Apatow.
No, but still, though, it's like, you know what I mean?
All right, I don't need you to whisper. It's okay.
You'll see what I mean. Like this one, like it's like sad. Actually, you're like,
yeah, I've heard it's sad. So yeah, guys, that's it for our review of Spider-Man: Homecoming. So now let's get into the box office results. Obviously, I know what number one is, and
we all know what number one is.
But the question is, how much did it make?
And where did Baby Driver go on this list?
Yes, where is Baby Driver on this list?
Because it was number one last week.
No, it was number 2 last week.
Because number one was Despicable Me.
Yep.
You mean Yellow Banana People?
Yep. A banana. Okay, man.
I remember
top 5.
Speaking of Despicable Me 3, it was funny how last night on the Discord server I'm on, we were discussing. Well, then technically, if all the minions served like every horrible person in history, then they technically serve Hitler. It was funny discussion.
Did they serve Hitler?
That's I
don't remember if they. I remember in the opening of Minions they were like with everybody, but Minions sucks.
And then I remember there was a lot of jokes.
All right, come on! I want to know the top 5. Go
about that.
Top 5. Go.
So
also, I wanted to say this right now. A Ghost Story came out in limited release this week, and it grossed $108,000, which is very good for an indie film.
For limited,
yeah, only 4 theaters. I cannot wait.
Theaters.
I cannot. Well, yeah, New York and LA.
Yeah, so
I'm excited to see Ghost Story.
Chinese theater. I don't fucking remember the name of that theater. I'm horrible.
Yeah, yes, it's the Chinese theater. The Chinese. Wait, no. That's where they have. No, I don't know. Okay, man.
Whatever theaters.
Box office results. Go. Number 5.
I'm gonna say number 5 is. I know Wonder Woman's in here somewhere. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna say if it is, but come on.
I would say number 5 is Wonder Woman.
All right, number 4.
Number 4. Wait, the shark movie?
No. No.
The shark movie?
No.
Because I know it didn't make it in the last week's list. God, this is what I'm saying. I'm horrible at this stuff.
It's funny.
That's why it's funny because y'all cringe. That's why
I cringe.
Inside, you're like, oh,
all right, come on, Matt.
Why did I bring this?
Think.
Why did I make a partnership
come on, Matt,
with this
think.
Kid? I mean, I know 4 of them. But fuck, this one.
Come on, Matt.
Because I don't remember that well.
What's the other big movie that came out a few weeks ago? The gigantic movie.
Well, I already said
the
Wonder
explosions.
Woman. I already said Wonder Woman, though.
The explosions.
Oh, that's right. Because I don't remember that movie. That's why. That goes to show you. Yeah, number 4 is gonna be Transformers.
Number 3.
Number 3 is gonna be Baby Driver.
Number 2.
Despicable Me 3.
And number 1.
Spooderman.
And how much did it make?
I feel like it made somewhere around 90 million.
Spider-Man: Homecoming is at number 1, but I'll get to that when we talk about how much
in a few minutes. Yes.
In a few seconds. Number 5, Transformers: The Last Night was $6.3 million.
Oh, even dropped farther. Jesus.
The budget is $217 million, domestically $118, and worldwide $494. Number 4, Wonder Woman. 10.1 million, which is still very good. That's very good.
Why did I think Transformers make more than Wonder Woman?
The budget is 149, domestically 368, worldwide 745. Yes, and yes. Number 3, Baby Driver with 12.7 million. The budget is 34 million, domestically 56, and worldwide 70 million. So it's already made twice its budget. So good job, Sony. Number 2, Despicable Me 3 with 33.9 million. Oh, God damn it. The budget is 80 million, domestically 149, worldwide 447.
Those yellow fucks.
Those goddamn yellow midgets.
No, you know what fit the best? Them yellow bastards.
Them yellow bastards.
No, just Bruce Willis. See me? From Sin City, just being like yellow bastards.
Them yellow bastards.
And
number 1, Spider-Man: Homecoming with 117 million.
Shit. Isn't that like one of the highest? Oh my.
I think this is the highest for Marvel in a while.
No, because Guardians opened to...
I don't remember.
I think it opened to 110 million. Yeah,
I don't remember. The budget is 175, domestically 117, and worldwide 257. So as of right now, Spider-Man has to make at least, I would say, 450.
They're gonna make it.
Yeah, probably.
The overseas market's gonna eat it up, man. Yeah. China's gonna eat it up.
So, yeah, guys. So that is the end of this episode of Nerdy Scores Film Podcast. On episode 80 next week, we are going to be reviewing War for the Planet of the Apes. And maybe we'll talk about the Big Thick.
Because it's coming wide next week.
Yes, but Planet of the Apes is,
Planet of the Apes is the main, but I always want to do it just for counter programming.
We'll see.
Just because we want to sell that movie, because goddamn, it's so good. You're going to hear, spoiler, it's so good.
Listen. We'll see what happens. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Film Junkie Bryan. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Share this with all your friends. Thank you so much, as always, for watching, /listening, /whatever. If you're listening to this on the toilet and you couldn't take a shit, well, hopefully that shit came out after listening to this episode. Thank you guys so much. Really, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
I gotta remember how to get back into my letterbox account.
We will see you guys next week for episode 80. Matt? Bye-bye. Nerdy Scores, a film podcast.